LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
Would you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Nadine Dorris. If I didn't tell you that I've got paid, I didn't get paid. If it is not in her records, it does not exist. Remember that from Star Wars Episode 2? Oh, I better got that right. Here is the nature of my confusion. People feel as though the future is bright. People feel as though the economy is on the way up. On the other hand, people feel that it isn't. Many local councils could collapse financially because of budget cuts, a report by MPs has warned. This is bad news. The Commons Public Accounts Committee said that funding is being cut, while demand for some services is increasing, meaning that serious questions will arise about the viability of some councils. They might actually shut up shop. The cross-party committee said the government should draw up contingency plans so it could intervene in the event of multiple financial failures. It's okay, everybody, the government has contingency plans. So there's that. And then this. I have detailed files. Fresh evidence emerged yesterday that the housing market recovery is gaining traction. Hurrah! House prices have jumped to their highest level in almost 3 years. Isn't that great news? The government's Help to Buy scheme is expected further to boost the activity in the market, which was hit hard when the global downturn struck 5 long years ago. The first part of the initiative, the Help to Buy scheme, which is already underway, involves the government helping buyers of new-build homes to gain a mortgage with a deposit as low as 5% by granting an equity loan of up to 20% of the property's value. What does that remind you of? The second part, which comes into force in January, is aimed at stimulating the entire housing market, giving it a tickle. The government will make guarantees to lenders to support low-deposit mortgages worth £130 billion. In other words... Now, correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong, but the government is actually engaged in securing mortgages to people who can't afford them, which sounds like the exact reason that we're in this mess in the first place. Have I got that right? You see the nature of my confusion? Several top economists have warned that the Help to Buy scheme could create another housing bubble. Well, I think they're a bit late. The housing market recovery, as I just said, has meant that the house prices have jumped to their highest level in almost 3 years. Based on what? Based on more people being in work, more people being more secure in their work, earning more money, having more cash to spare. None of these things is true. Are true. None of these things are true. Fathom Consulting, whoever they are, they said that the average price of a home, according to measures by the Office of National Statistics, could rise by 30% by the end of, guess how long it's going to take for houses to rise by 30%. Now you'd think if you are in the possession of your faculties, you might think, well, 2020, 2030, something reasonable like that.
Negative.
No, by 2015. What year is it now? He said, looking at the top of the paper to check. 2013. 2 years. 1.5, actually. That is insane. And that is the road that the government is taking us down. Guaranteeing loans to buy houses to people that can't afford them. I think that's called subprime mortgages, isn't it?
Correct.
Yes, the exact reason, or at least a large part of the reason that we're in this mess in the first place. That is part of the nature of my confusion. The government appears to be doing... It's like the Michael Douglas thing. You know, Michael Douglas said he had a sore throat. Well, an advanced case of sore throats. A sore throat that led him to go to hospital. And did you hear... Did you hear the little bit too much information that he offered as to why he had a sore throat? Well, he said that in doing what it is that he did, he got a sore throat, as in almost died. And what was the cure? Doing the exact same thing. That's what he said. The thing that made me weak is going to make me strong.
What?
Makes no sense. Did I manage to get around that without actually saying anything alarming?
Yes.
Only you see, you could actually show it on Channel 4, but you can't even mention it on the radio. It's illegal. Don't ask me why. It just is. So that's part of the insanity of anything to do with the economy, and this is the nature of my confusion. If the thing that got us into trouble in the first place is the thing that's going to get us out of the trouble, then either I've lost my mind or somebody has. So there's that. I wrote an article about it. You can find it on lbc.co.uk under the blogs section. But there's also this. Many and various different conflicting arguments. Britain faces a decade of austerity, with public spending cuts likely to dominate the next two general elections. Two leading think tanks have warned. How much of an expert, how special do you have to be, brain-wise, to be in a think tank? In a joint because none of these people agree with anybody else. In a joint study, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, wow, they sound important, don't they? And the Institute for Government, well, that sounds just evil. They warn, I'm sure they're not. They warn that a further 250,000 civil servants may lose their jobs because of sluggish economic growth. So who are all these people that are saying that the economy is on the way up? They've never felt better about the future. Another 250,000 minimum civil servants are going to lose their jobs because of sluggish economic growth. They said that both the 2015 and the 2020 general elections are likely to be fought on the grounds of austerity, and that the situation could worsen with the decline of North Sea oil and rising costs of healthcare. We're all going to get older, and we're all going to get more ill. And the older we get, the more compounded our fiscal problems will become. Carl Emerson, the Deputy Director of the IFS, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, said that one of the first actions of whoever is Chancellor after the next election in 2015 may be to, are you ready? Sit down, get a grip on something firm, raise taxes. What? Do you, dear listener, feel that you're not paying enough in taxes? Now, compare and contrast this joint study of the important-sounding Institute for Fiscal Studies and the evil-sounding Institute for Government, warning that another 250,000 civil servants are going to lose their jobs and that we're going to be looking at austerity from now until the end of time. Compare and contrast that with Melvin King. I know his name's not Melvin, but I just can't stand to call a grown-up Mervyn. That's just silly. Mervyn King, the Governor of the Bank of England, set out a bright picture for the economy this week. He said there were good reasons to believe a gentle recovery was on the way. Really? Well, name them then. He's been saying this for as long as I can remember. Maybe it's part of his job profile that he has to be, forever cheery. It's not the personality profile that I think of when I think of the Governor of the Bank of England. Cheery, but, maybe that's just written into his contract. Has to say positive things, whether he believes them or not. A bright picture for the economy. That's what Melvin thinks. So those two positions don't add up at all, hence my confusion. Now, this should be the background hum of the programme, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with economics, just things in general. What confuses you? Now, we could... this is talk about a brilliant topic. I am some kind of raving genius, eh?
No.
Things that confuse you. 0845 6060 973. Oh, how about this? George Osborne's Help to Buy scheme. I was just talking about this. Kick-started the revival of the construction industry, which accounts for about 7% of our nation's income. Very, very important. 7% of our nation's income is dependent on the construction industry. You know, those nice people that throw up those charmless flatlets with clacky laminate flooring and no cupboards. Or those tiny houses, little boxes, all the same, with microscopic windows, because it's cheaper than putting in double glazing. That's actually why houses have such tiny windows, by the way. Did you ever wonder about that? You look at Georgian architecture, or any architecture apart from the stuff that they're building now, and they all have gigantic windows through which light falls. But these days, because of the, and this is the law of unintended consequences, the government said, or the EU said, or I don't know, somebody who had our best interests at heart, said that we must have greener houses that let less heat out. And so the construction industry said, right, well, Governor, we'll just take the windows out. And they found it difficult to sell a house without any windows, so they put in tiny microscopic windows, because you can insulate the house more cheaply if it doesn't have any windows. It's like planes. The only reason that planes have got windows in is because people would find it discombobulating to sit in one without. It actually makes the entire structure much less rigid and more difficult to heat. So George Osborne's Help to Buy scheme has kick-started the revival of the evil construction industry, which counts about 7% of our nation's income. Good news, right? No. The government's Help to Buy cheap loans scheme may turn out to be counterproductive by fueling a house price bubble that locks potential buyers out of the market. The International Monetary Fund has warned. No less a group of geniuses than the IMF. So the very policy, or the stated aim of the policy, the Help to Buy scheme, to allow first-time buyers to step lightly, or heavily rather, onto the property ladder, is the exact same scheme that's going to prevent them from stepping onto the property ladder. Confused?
Yes.
Me too. Things that confuse you, please. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3. LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Yes, it's about confusion, baby. 0845 6060 973. Just before I get to the first call, this email has just come in, and the Bilderberg Circus is in town, and the woodwork squeaks, and out come the conspiracy theorists. This one says, this furious email says, I was reading that. You just don't get it, do you? Exclamation mark. The elite, not including radio presenters. What? What radio presenter is part of the elite? You don't have to tell us that it's not including us. I know that. I know my place. The elite, not including radio presenters, have decided they want the planet to themselves and are planning to wipe out most of the population of the world, including radio presenters. Using all and any means possible, says RJ. That is my response to you, RJ, and I'll write that down. Look at it frequently. Here's a call in Wembley. Hello, Jab. Jab, is your name Jab?
Yes, Nick, it is. You know, I've got an idea for you to help the house buyers and the housing market. I believe it's practiced in Japan. I believe it's called the 99-year mortgage, right?
The 99-year mortgage?
Yeah, I mean, where the individual takes over, then his children take over the mortgage after they go, and then, the grandchildren take over. Now, what that actually does, if there's more than one family, obviously, it will help them to buy the next house easier because of the good references and the credit scores and whatever. I don't see why that shouldn't work to help new buyers and increasing the housing market.
Yeah, but that seems to be just propping up... Well, first of all, it seems odd to take any advice from the Japanese about the economy, for a start. That's the biggest basket case on Earth, if you don't include us or Syria. Are you reversing, Jab?
Yeah.
You are?
Sorry, say again?
Are you going backwards at the moment?
No, sir. No, I'm not going backwards. What I'm trying to think is there is no chance in heaven or hell for new buyers to actually buy property, and the idea to make it easier would be to start off something like this. Now, you say, why should we take advice from the Japanese?
Yeah.
And Nick, you say that why should we take advice from the Japanese?
No, I'm not saying why should we, I'm saying let's not.
Well, look at it this way. This was a country that was completely destroyed, as was Germany in the Second World War.
Yeah.
Look how far advanced they got. Was it discipline? Was it order? Was it good ideas? Was it intelligence?
All of those things.
Yeah, but, can't see why we can't take an idea here and there. What's the big idea? Are we so proud to take ideas from other countries?
No, but let's take good ideas, though. What you're proposing is just propping up the housing market, which, in my ignorant opinion, is the wrong thing to do. It just seems like a nuts thing. The housing market is already massively overpriced. I mean, if the government has to step in to help people up onto it, if that is not the definition of overpriced, then I don't know what is. It's nuts. You see, people are confused. I mean, if that is also the definition of being confused, if you go to Japan for economics advice. Here's something else I read today. Prices are falling at the shops, driven by falls in the cost of DIY supplies, clothes and electricals. And this was painted as excellent news for the consumer. Prices are falling at the shops, driven by falls in the costs of DIY supplies, clothes and electricals. And when I was reading that, I thought, well, how many DIY supplies, clothes and electricals does a person buy? And right at the end of that article, I mean, the major headline on the piece was, prices are falling, excellent news for shoppers. And right at the end, as an oh, by the way, they said, the cost of food is going up. Which is, correct me if I'm getting this wrong, which is what we buy most of. So prices are not falling in the shops. This is not good news for consumers. Unless you want to buy an electric drill and a pair of overalls. Other than that, you're screwed. This is the nature of my confusion. Now, I'm not asking for your thoughts on why you're confused about the economy. Just in general, what confuses you? It's all the background hum of this programme, one of confusion. No change there. Sheffield. Hello, Jess.
Yeah, hello.
Jessica.
Yeah, I'm responding to your topic.
Yeah.
Look what
Now,
happened
the way you said topic was as though you were holding a bag of doggy do out from your person.
Well,
topic.
No, I thought it almost sounded like you threw out there a topic. I mean, I can't help thinking you did that a couple of weeks ago, and I think one person called.
No, well, I did topics last weekend, and I could barely get through the calls quickly enough.
Well, just before I was going to talk about what
Well, wait a minute. You accuse me of running a poor show, and then presented with the evidence that this is not true. You just brush that aside as though you never said it.
Well, do you know what? I've got a better topic. I mean, I'm not sure topic is the way for you to go, to be honest. I'm not sure your audience is topic-orientated. But I discovered this week that Sheffield, which is, I know is a place you love and want to visit.
I've never been there. I've never been there, and I have no wish to go.
Boris Johnson told me that as well.
Boris Johnson told you that? Wow, I can't believe that I actually agree with Boris Johnson about something.
I discovered this week that Sheffield is twinned. Well, I've discovered two things. One, that Sheffield is twinned with Esteli in Nicaragua.
Esteli?
Yeah.
Are you pronouncing that right?
I'm not sure.
Is it Estelle?
It might be.
Is it just a woman in Nicaragua it's twinned with?
I'm just starting to kind of understand the impact that this is going to have on my life. I don't really know how to say it, but we are. I never knew that. And it confuses me why we do this, because what does it even mean? So where I live is twinned with Estelle in Nicaragua. Now, as it turns out, that does mean something to me, but for most people it doesn't mean anything. It's just confusing.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. Why do towns do that? Yes, what is the benefit gained in twinning? And it's often an embarrassing twin. There'll be some awful place in England. Let's take Sheffield, for example. And they twin themselves with some beautiful nirvana in the south of France, something like that. And presumably they do like swaps. They do swapses. I'll go and stay at your place, and you can come and stay at mine.
Funnily enough, I work for a language school, and we've got a lady coming in next week, and she's from Estelle in Nicaragua, and we're going to give her some free English lessons, and she's here.
Well, they come over here, they take our free English lessons.
And that's why this is why the whole thing's been brought to my attention, really. But and I'm sure she's going to be lovely. But part of me thinks, well, I don't understand why, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, the fact that Sheffield is twinned with Estelle in Nicaragua means that we're giving away about £2 worth of English lessons. I'm sure that this lady's going to be lovely, and I'm going to get involved in Nicaragua kind of week.
Yeah.
In Sheffield.
Nicaraguan week.
Maybe, who knows, maybe...
There's no such thing. You're making it up.
Maybe I might even get a freebie to Nicaragua out of it.
Well, about a pound of cocaine, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, we're twins with Nicaragua. It's confusing. But anyway, the point is that the other thing that I found out about Sheffield this week is that it's the happiest city in the UK.
Rubbish.
So considering what you said a couple of weeks ago about how terrible it was, well then...
But what do I know? I've never even been there.
Well, I know. Well, I don't think you should come because you sound quite grumpy. Yeah. I don't think you'd fit in. We're very happy people, apparently. I think it's got something to do with the amount of sex we have and just generally being nice.
Now, when you say happy, do you mean drunk?
No, I think that it's a proper survey, and you know how important those things are.
Yeah.
And it said that Sheffield was the happiest city in the UK, and most people here were just, kind of quite easygoing and were happy to be happy, as opposed to being grumpy and annoying.
Yeah, I've never heard such a load of old rubbish in all my life. Wasn't that a survey by a cosmetics company that determined whether people were happy or not? And the killer end sentence was people felt least happy when they looked at themselves in the mirror. Oh, and here's the address for a cosmetic surgeon. As just as a by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're so cynical. Don't even come here. We don't want you here. We don't want the likes of you with your southern ways, your southern grumpy ways, coming up to Sheffield and spoiling it for everybody.
Who the hell do I think I am?
So yeah, but I do think I think it's confusing when they put something out there like your city is twinned with another city. It makes you think, well, I don't really know why, and also any of these kind of day things as well, like Father's Day and Pancake Day and, national kind of,
Well, wait a minute, don't, like Sausage Day and stuff like that. Well, Father's Day, that's a bit more established than Sausage Day, isn't it?
Well,
Do you celebrate Sausage Day, Jess?
Well, do you know what? I think that...
When was the last time you had a Savoy?
You know what, I'm not even going to answer that. What I'm saying is that I thought it was Father's Day this weekend, and I was going to go through all the kind of rigmarole that you have to do when it's this kind of day. And I will obviously do it for my dad. Of course I will.
Yeah, and Sausage Day too. You always want to keep a furter in your purse in case you get peckish.
What I'm saying is it's confusing.
Right. Well, you passed that on very clearly. There's nothing confusing about the nature of your confusement. Thanks a lot, Jess.
Okay.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-ta. Keep smiling. 0845. See, your neighbours rely on it. Sheffield, the happiest place in the country. I don't believe it. 0845 6060 973. Things that make us confused. Like this. We are all reducing our level of debt. So I read in the newspaper this week. And mostly it was just in the one newspaper, because I had a lot of time on my hands on Wednesday because I did something really, really stupid that has resulted in me having to take drugs that you keep in the fridge. Really stupid. And so I had a ton of time when I was sitting in A&E, and I was reading all about it. And we are all reducing our debt, it said. And then on the inside of that very story, it said that there are only 4 countries on Earth with more private debt than us. Greece, Portugal, Cyprus, and the Netherlands. And I don't know how the Netherlands got in there, but keeping company with the other 3 doesn't sound very good to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. Greece, Portugal, and... Is Greece, Portugal, and Cyprus actually still in existence? So on the one hand, yes it is, and on the other, oh no it isn't. It's confusing. So share with me the nature of your confusement. If that doesn't exist as a word, then it should, because I can't think of another way of saying it. The nature of your confusement. On 0845 6060 973. This is LBC 97.3. It's 10:30.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
It can only be attributable to human error.
It can only be attributable to human error. On the one hand, Britain faces a decade of austerity, and on the other hand, the Governor of the Bank of England says that everything is great. Everything is great moving forward. George Osborne's Help to Buy scheme has kick-started the revival of the construction industry, and but it's also counterproductive because it will fuel a house price bubble. All bubbles pop in the end. Prices are falling, prices are going up. We're all reducing our debt. We've never been so in debt. And there are green shoots and the position is getting better, and which is what I read on the front page of the business section on Wednesday when I was sitting in A&E, having done something stupid. There are green shoots and the position is getting better. That's what it said on the front. Inside it said, pretty soon, bond markets will pop, house prices will plunge, another large economy will implode, the cost of borrowing will soar, and another recession is waiting in the wings. The position is not getting better. So this is the nature of my confusement. What's the better way of putting that? The nature of my confusement. It doesn't even exist as a word, but I can't think of any other way of putting it. So that is why I was confused this week. Now you share me yours. Why are you confused? And it doesn't have to be anything to do with the economy. In fact, it would probably be better if it wasn't. The Bilderberg Circus is in town, by the way. The annual conference for 140 of the world's most powerful meet for 4 days at The Grove, a £300 a night golf hostel close to the M25 this week. I bet you spend more than 300 quid in a room there. The entire hotel has been booked out, and a high fence erected around the exclusion zone. Nothing to hide here, please move along. Armed checkpoints have been set up on local roads. Locals must show their passports to enter their own driveways. The Home Office may foot the bill, which means we foot the bill. The Bilderberg was founded in 1954 to bring the leaders of Western Europe and the United States closer as the Soviet Union cemented its control over the Eastern Bloc. They first met at the Bilderberg Hotel in Arnhem. In that first meeting, the participants, including bankers, economists, and the future Labour leader Hugh Gateskill, debated the communist threat and the prospect of European integration. Publicly, the group says it's merely a debating society. Well, they would say that, wouldn't they? A forum for leaders to listen, reflect, and gather insights, unbound by official policy positions. Former leaders of the Bilderberg conferences say they were the most important events they ever went to. And the freedom of speaking away from the ears of Whitehall officials meant that the discussions that took place decisively shaped modern Europe. And they did so in complete secrecy. The attendance this time? George Osborne. Ed Balls, Ken Clarke. The Cabinet Minister, who also serves as the group's steering committee, Mr. Mandelson. Jose Manuel Barroso, the President of the European Commission, Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF, François Fillon, the former French Prime Minister, Robert Rubin and Timothy Geithner, the former Secretaries to the US Treasury, and serving Prime Ministers, Foreign Ministers, Finance Ministers from across Northwest Europe. But they are not alone. The chairman and chief executives of some of the world's biggest businesses will attend, from Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Amazon, Google, Shell, HSBC, Lazard, Prudential and Alcoa. Henri de Castries, the chairman of the Bilderberg, is head of AXA, the insurance giant. Peter Thiel, the billionaire founder of Playboy. No, PayPal. Not Playboy, PayPal. He's also on the guest list. As is Goldman Sachs and BP. And then there are defence officials, the commander of Eurocorps, the EU standing army, BAE Systems, intelligence firm Stratfor, Henry Kissinger, the former US Secretary of State, David Petraeus, the former US commander in Afghanistan. He briefly ran the CIA. These are the publicly issued names. We'll never know who they all are, arriving in their blacked-out limos. On the agenda? Well, on the agenda that they told us, Economic growth, big data, Africa, medical research, and the rise of cyber warfare. Cyber warfare.
Affirmative.
Robots killing people. What could possibly go wrong? The conspiracy theoretician-in-chief is Daniel Estulin, a 46-year-old Lithuanian and author of the best-selling The True Story of the Bilderberg Group. It argues the group's founders were former Nazis, and it now gathers to choose presidents and control the media. Bilderberg is not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy reality, he says. The idea is the creation of a global network of cartels more powerful than any nation on Earth, destined to control the necessities of life of the rest of humanity. Or it's just a freewheeling golfing holiday and networking opportunity for mostly old men to get away from their wives. One of the two. Hannah Borno, a journalist and transparency campaigner, says, if our politicians want to be wined and dined in luxury for 3 days with Goldman Sachs, that seems to me a bit like lobbying, she says. And that's not going to lead to any problems, is it? Lobbying. She says she wants the minutes of the discussion to be published. She's puzzled as to how the Bilderberg Association is granted tax exemption as a charity, when groups such as private schools usually need to pass a public benefit test. It's a charity? That's the worst thing I've heard about it. Anyway, they're in town. People are very upset about it. And I suppose that's one of the things that confuses me. I'll just add it to the list of things that confuse me. And here, to share some of his list, is a bloke in Wimbledon called Rob. Rob.
Oh, good afternoon, Nick. Or good evening, even.
Rob.
Actually, Ross.
Can I call you Rob for the duration of this phone call?
Please do. Please do. It might be good in case my girlfriend's listening, because that is what is my confusion.
Yeah, confused about your girlfriend.
Well, she's a psychologist.
Right.
And I'm generally confused all of the time because of this, and I heard you once mention that you are perplexed by a psychologist yourself, so I thought I'd let you know that you're not alone.
Well, I'm not perplexed by them. I have a degree in psychology, which doesn't mean to say that I actually know anything about the subject at all.
You could ring my girlfriend for me and tell me that, because I'm in an argument tonight, as I am most nights, and if I tried to explain what it was and what it was about and how to get around it, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So
you found yourself in an argument with your psychologist girlfriend, but in the middle of it, you didn't know how you got there, and particularly how you get out of it.
Yeah, that about sums it up. That about sums up my day-to-day business.
So the argument started, presumably about some small, insignificant thing, but you had a feeling in the back of your mind that that's not what the argument was actually about. Am I right?
Yeah, that about sums it up. I think the argument was about my reaction to something, but it was a facial reaction that I wasn't quite aware of, and it built from there.
She didn't like your face?
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. And then I tried to explain that wasn't what was in my mind at the time.
Yeah.
But then I was told to ignore the subject and move on.
Right, so in other words, you gave a facial tick or an expression of some sort in reaction to something that your girlfriend said, but you were actually thinking about something. You were probably thinking of boobs, Rob.
Well, yeah, I probably was. I mean, if it was every other second, it may well have been. Right,
and that sort of cross-eyed, stupid look that flits across men's faces. She thought that was in reaction to what she was saying, and as it was, a visit of her mother, or you'd run out of cheese, or you ate the last of the cereal, or something like that, she took umbrage at this. Quite right, too. You're not paying attention to her, Rob.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. So you've got a degree in psychology, have you?
Yeah. The other thing is, it's also possible that people who study psychology are nuts. There is that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've come to find that. How do you deal with it, though?
In your position, Rob, I think probably just smiling and nodding. Just smile and nod a lot. You don't actually have to listen to what she's saying, but just smile and nod a lot. Okay.
No bizarre facial expressions. No emotion whatsoever.
No. Keep your face set in a supportive yet quizzical way. Can you manage that?
I've I probably could. I can see that causing an argument, though. Yeah.
Would you be comfortable in a ski mask?
6 feet under the ground.
Yeah,
face down.
You could engage in a telephone conversation, perhaps, or you could become pen pals.
These are all wonderful suggestions, but I can see every single one of them causing an argument. I don't see a way out. Maybe I'll come up with something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the best of luck, Rob.
Thank you very much. I might even change my name to Rob. I quite like it.
Yeah, excellent news. Cheers, mate. Ta-ta.
Cheers, Nick.
0845 6060 973. He's in a relationship with a psychologist and he's confused. Isn't that surprising?
No.
No, not really, no. She's an expert, Rob. You don't stand a chance. Confusing by a text and email. 2. Is that all I've got? Oh, come on, people. Something must confuse you. This is terrible. A weak response. Not even a response. It's a response. 2? How have I only got 2? This one says, things that confuse me. The two Eds, Miliband and Balls, said to kick-start the economy, Labour would borrow more money. Just how can borrowing more help us? I'm confused. Yeah, me too. Me too, Ron. And this one says, things that make us confused, the weather forecast on the radio when they say it's going to be a dry day with the possibility of some rain. Yeah, that really dry rain. Oh, speaking of the weather, by the way, that was it. That 1 week, that was summer. And it's full on into autumn next week, or so they say. Hang on, I'm going to cough. That again. British sun seekers should make the most of the continued warm weather this weekend. As forecasters are predicting, it will end next week with the arrival of more rain. The country basked in the warmest weather seen so far this year, with temperatures of up to 25 centigrade in some parts of the country. I have a red neck to prove it. That was the other stupid thing I did this. It's weird because we've only just seen the sun. And so you treat it as though it's like early spring sun, but it's not. It's about as hot as the sun gets here now. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks before we have the longest day, so the sun is as directly above us as it's going to be. It's as dangerous as it ever gets in this country. And did I take precautions?
No.
No, I did not. But that's not why I went to A&E. Even I wouldn't go to A&E because I had a red neck. Meteorologists are predicting clear skies and bright sunshine through the weekend, but have warned that the conditions will become more unsettled into next week. It comes after a week of warm and sunny weather that has marked the arrival of summer, just in time for the start of June. Well, I suppose so. I mean, that does herald the start of summer. It's just that I might like to have seen a peak of it just before. Hampshire and London are expected to enjoy the best of the conditions this weekend. Those heading to the beaches in the southwest of England or on hills in the northwest could be hit by isolated showers. So it'll be a dry day with rain. A spokesman for the Met Office warned that the conditions will become increasingly unsettled next week. She said, "We have had a really good week of weather that will continue for the weekend over much of the country. There'll be a bit of change going into next week as it's going to get cloudier, and there'll be more chance of rain. The start of the week will still be warm, but gradually become more unsettled. On Thursday, temperatures reached 23 centigrade in parts of the southeast. That's London and East Anglia. The fine conditions have brought a boom in flowers following the wet spring. I like flowers. And strawberries have also benefited from the changing conditions, with the wetter-than-normal spring making fruits 15% larger than usual. Somebody actually measured the fruit.
We're looking at 10 inches.
They're huge this year. Growers have also reported that strawberries are sweeter than normal as a result of the good growing season.
Yowza.
Can't wait. Are you people kidding me? Not one call. 0845 6060 973. I thought that this was about the easiest call-in opportunity I could come up with. There's nothing easier than this. Things that confuse you. There must be something, surely. 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @lbc973. Nothing. Meanwhile, back at the Bilderberg, David Cameron could be forced to give details of private talks he's holding with world leaders of the secretive meeting of the Bilderberg Group. Downing Street disclosed that the Prime Minister would attend the controversial gathering of heads of governments, former ministers and chief executives of the world's most powerful global corporations. However, the discussions were being held on a strictly confidential basis, and Number 10 said no details of the talks would be made public. Michael Meacher, the Labour MP and former minister, will demand that Mr Cameron makes a statement to the Commons next week, giving details of the meeting. And Downing Street, you'll like this. Downing Street insisted that despite the secretive meeting, the Prime Minister remained determined to lead the most transparent government in history. Oh, it's the way he tells them. How can, with a straight face, you say that in relation to a secret meeting? More than, maybe it was just a joke. More than 130 delegates from 21 countries are expected to attend the three-day event at the luxury hotel near Watford. I bet they're upset at that luxury hotel that is actually described as being in Watford. It's the least luxury destination I can think of off the top of my head. Watford. I mean, it even sounds unluxurious. Mr Cameron has been invited as head of the nation's, of the host nation's government, a Number 10 spokesman said. The Prime Minister, this is a quote, the Prime Minister views this as an opportunity to discuss important issues with senior ministers, business people and academics, the spokesman said. It's a private meeting. Nothing suspicious there, then. Mr Meacher said that there was likely to be heavy lobbying at the debate, and while he understood that world leaders spoke confidentially on a regular basis, this meeting was different. He said a congress like this clearly has a very important purpose, because something very valuable is happening in terms of their attitude, plans, proposals for the future of our economies. We, the rest of us, are going to be affected. But Downing Street insisted that Mr Cameron was committed to promoting transparency in government, which is an interesting way of putting it. He's committed to promoting transparency in government, where you can promote something while not actually doing it yourself. All discussions are held on strictly confidential terms, and security at the meetings is tight. So not very transparent, then. It's about as transparent as carpet. Here is Addleston. Hello, Reese.
Hi there.
Reese.
Hi there.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm all right, mate.
Good, good. I just wanted to talk about, first-time caller, I just want to talk about really how David Cameron relatively recently said that he wanted to be the most transparent government and wanted to try and make improvements in
I just said that. He's just repeating what I just said. Here is Romford. Hello, Teresa.
Hi, Nick.
Teresa.
How are you?
I am great, mate.
The first time I've spoken to you, you do make me giggle.
Wow. That's nice of you. Thanks, Teresa.
I wanted to say about confusion. I was confused this week. I had a big parcel delivered, and chap knocked on the door, just dropped it down in the porch. Now, Nick, I'm disabled. Opened the door, holding onto the walking stick, so I said, oh, could you put it in the hallway for me? No, he said, not allowed to come into the house. So I said, why is that? Health and safety. I said, what health and safety? He said, I might trip over.
Yeah.
I said, you just walked up the drive carrying it. I said, you're more likely to fall over there. I just couldn't believe it. But and then the next today, I had groceries delivered from a supermarket, and they brought everything in.
Oh, so they actually were super.
Courier can't bring a parcel into the house.
Now, presumably, if you're disabled, you've got those bars that will they're nailed into the wall.
No, I haven't.
Oh, right. Like I said, you don't have those.
I don't like to advertise it.
Right, okay.
But I just thought it was ludicrous.
I think that a lot of people use health and safety as an excuse to do something that as an excuse not to do something they just don't want to do.
Yeah, I just think he was perhaps a bit of a job's worth because the same firm have delivered things here before for me, and everybody else has brought it in.
Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense to me.
Hall, and then I might knock something off a shelf. I said, I'm not asking you to take it into the sitting room. I'm asking you just to come, 2 more steps forward and just put it in the hall.
That's completely out of the question, Teresa.
Anyway, Nick, the other thing I'm confused about, please enlighten me. Why were you in A&E?
Because I did something really stupid.
Yes, you keep saying. And now with a degree in psychology, and like you said earlier, my daughter has, and I think she's crackers, but hey-ho.
I think that it's a fairly safe indication that somebody's not quite all there if they choose to study psychology at university.
And she read some book, and I didn't understand the title. Was it The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Well, it is A1.
A1. Right, anyway, you still haven't told me why you're in A&E.
Right, well, I'll have to tell you after the news, because I'm running up against the bulletin.
Oh, Nick, please do tell us.
I shall, Teresa.
Just so love Friday and Saturday evening. Like I just sent a text earlier. Drip-fed misery, you make me giggle every weekend.
Thanks very much, Teresa. What a nice lady. Yeah, I was in A&E, like an idiot, sitting on a hard wooden chair for 3.5 hours. And it was all my fault. And now I'm on drugs that you have to keep in the fridge. Here was a call in Chelmsford. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Peter, good, thanks.
Good. Yeah, I'm just calling about the whole confusion thing, really.
Yeah.
I'm a member of HM Forces, and what I get confused about is when I walk around the street on Saturday, I see civilians wearing sort of combat clothes.
I'm wearing combat clothes right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What I get confused with the fact that why would you wear a uniform of a job that you're not in? And walk around wearing a Tesco uniform.
Well, with the greatest respect to Tesco's, their uniforms don't look cool. I mean, I can't off the top of my head think of what they look like, and neither are they.
I don't know why I picked Tesco. It was just the first one that comes to my head.
Right. Okay. Well, that's understandable. They're the biggest seller in the country, aren't they? Something like 1 out of every 10 pence gets spent in Tesco's. Well, the reason that people buy it is because A, it looks good, B, it's often cheap, and C, it's hard wearing.
So if you join the army, you get it for nothing.
Well, yeah, but then you have to join the army.
You don't get something for nothing.
Well, you just said join the army, you get it for nothing.
Yeah, true, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Peter. If it didn't look, if it didn't match all of the above, cheap, hard-wearing, and it looked good, then people wouldn't wear it. And that's why people don't wear the uniform of any other... Well, it's not really a uniform, I suppose it is. Don't go head to toe, though, because then you will look as though you're on manoeuvres. 0845 6060 973. Still only 2 texts and emails. Are you kidding me? There must be more than that. And no calls either. Oh, we must go faster. Anon says... The tax system confuses me for more than obvious reasons. Yeah, well, you and me both. I am mystified about it on a regular basis. Well, like that so-called tax dodge that Labour is trying to defend. Labour has been trying to defend, despite having attacked the Conservatives for doing almost the exact same thing. None of that makes any sense to me either. I'll get into that after the news as well. But the phone number here is 0845 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's at lbc973. So the background hum of the programme, things that confuse you. Doesn't have to be economically related. Anything you can think of. And in the fullness of time, we'll get up to speed and have texts and emails and all manner of communications.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
I think this is nonsense.
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you? 0845 6060 973. It's a confusing programme this evening, and on that subject, here's a call in Lose. I wish it was called something else. Hello, Maggie.
Oh, Lewis.
Oh, Lewis.
You know, I was thinking, there's somebody else before me, and they're in Devon.
Lewis. Oh, written wrong on my screen. Spell Lewis for
Got
us.
a little castle on the top.
Spell it. Lewis. Spell it.
Yes, Lewes.
Lewes.
Yes.
And that's pronounced Lewis.
Yes, Lewis.
Shouldn't that be Lose?
Yeah, well, a lot of people think so.
Yeah.
But it's Lewis. It's like nearby. There's a little place called Cookfield, but a lot of people call it Cuckfield.
Because it's spelt with a U.
Yeah, but they've made it as it's the cuckoo in the field, you see. But even some of the people in the BBC call it Cuckfield.
I'm confused by the English language. The English language is confusing.
It is.
So, what is the nature of your confusion, Maggie?
Well, I'm very confused because, I was just thinking of manslaughter, actually. Manslaughter.
Man's laughter, yeah.
Manslaughter, yeah.
Nothing amusing about it.
No, it isn't. I'm very confused, because I heard a few months ago that a county councillor earned £220,000 a year when our Prime Minister earns only £65,000.
Well, no, he earns about 145, something of that order.
Yeah, so, do they sort of think of a number and double it in the chambers?
Well, people like that, people who run councils, like to think that they are offering some sort of... hang on, I'm going to cough. This has been dogging me for weeks now, this coughing. I'm very, very ill, Maggie, from Lose.
But Steve Allen mentioned... Now, what did he mention when he was coughing so much? It was the really nice honey and lemon juice and ginger.
Right, well, I can't afford that. That's okay for Steve Allen, but I can't afford Steve Allen's cure.
Yeah, well, I think, I have 10 plus. I think he has about 200 plus, which is an enormous amount of money.
200 plus what?
Manuka honey.
200 plus Manuka honey?
Yeah. You can... it's quite expensive, 18 plus, or 20 or 30 plus.
That's squirted out of aristocratic bees' bottoms.
Or big bees.
Yeah. Anyway, who decides how much council workers earn?
Yeah,
that is the nature of your confusion. I couldn't agree more, yeah. And it is as though they just think of a number and double it, because what they, as I was saying before I had to break for a cough, was that the people who run councils, much like anybody who runs anything really, they like to think that they're in that position because of their innate genius, because they bring something special to the table. Whereas the truth is, people who run councils, almost certainly the opposite is the case. That they just got lucky. They just didn't offend anybody for a long period of time, so they could climb up the greasy pole and then slide effortlessly into the top job while no one was looking. And as long as they don't screw up in a massive way, or as long as if they do they can blame it on somebody else, then they stay there, and they acquire more and more and more.
Yeah.
You're quite right, Maggie. The highest earners earn about twice what the Prime Minister of this country earns.
Yeah.
Staggering.
But do they decide themselves what they earn, I wonder? Or is there another body that says you can take that amount of money out of the purse?
Yeah. Well, let's assume that if there is a remuneration committee, then it works in much the same way as in the banking industry, where everybody sits on each other's remuneration committee, and it's in the interests of those committees to keep wages high, because then they will be able to point in the direction of their competitor and say, well, look, that person earns £1 million a year, so I should too. Leaving out the point about them having recommended that person earns £1 million a year.
Yeah. Oh, and can I just ask you about your ducks? Did they ever return?
My ducks? Well, a couple of them flew by the window just today, and I took a deep breath in, but they kept going. No, it did not return.
You could be on spring watch if they return.
Yeah, I am on watch, but it's not that kind of watch. If they ever come back, they're in for a big surprise.
Well, it was a lovely episode.
Thanks a lot, Maggie.
Lovely to speak to you, Nick.
Ta-ra. 0845 6060 973. What? Who decides what council workers get paid? Excellent question. It's not the people down at the bottom of the ladder and mid, because they probably just base their earnings on what everybody else around them earn. But the people at the top, there seems to be they've uncoupled themselves from everybody else's experience. It is as though they are just making this stuff up, because one council leader will earn vastly more than a council leader from the neighbouring borough. And there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. They don't have any extra responsibilities. They don't have to do any extra work. They're not in the office any longer. Doesn't make any sense. Apart from that they can. Why do they do it? Because they can.
Correct.
Here is Southampton. Hello, Nick.
Hello.
Nick,
how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Well, first I'd just like to say it's a pleasure listening to you. You're a wonderful human being. You just see the lighter side of life, and it makes me really happy on a Friday evening.
Well, that's nice of you, Nick. Thanks.
Well, I'm in the property services business. I've been for a long time.
Property services? What does that mean?
Estate agent.
You're an estate agent. Oh, I see.
No!
Carry on.
Go. All right. Talking about confusion.
Yeah.
This chap's been on my list for months now, looking for rented property. So I found exactly what he wanted, rang him up. He came in, and I said, here's your two-bedroom flat in the location you want, at the rental figure you wanted. And guess what? It's even got an extra parking space. It's got 2 parking spaces.
Wow.
And he said, you've just wasted my time. I only want 1. And I said, you don't have to pay any extra rent. It's included. Don't use it if you don't want to. He got mad, and he went away really angry.
So he specifically requested 1 parking space?
No, he just said, I want a 2-bedroom flat in this particular road near town. If it comes up, let me know. Mm-hmm. And I need off-street parking.
Yeah, off-street parking for 1 car. And you, despite having received these specific instructions, offered him 2 parking spaces, Nick.
Sad, isn't it?
You see, now what that would do is just remind him that he only has 1 car.
I was dumbfounded when he left. See you later.
Right, okay, good work. Hey, by the way, let me ask you, just as we've got you on the phone, the property market, up or down? Yes or no?
Not up.
Not up.
In London, it's a different story altogether. But in the suburbs and out of London, we're still struggling.
Nobody rushing to buy a property in Southampton.
No, people are still worried about their jobs. There's a lot of insecurity around. They won't commit themselves. And I've found that the average age of first-time buyers used to be about 22, 23 years of age. Now it's around 28 to 29. So it's taking nearly 7, 8 years to save up. And you're absolutely right. House prices are overinflated at the moment.
Yeah. I'll just add it to the things that I'm right about. And whenever I get something right, it's just sheer dumb luck. You understand that?
No, you're right. You're about most things. Everything, actually. God, Nick. Abbot.
All right, let's not get carried away, Nick.
You're 52, Brunel University. I was just Googling you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look up me on the World Wide Wait.
I will do.
Thanks very much, Nick. 0845 6060 973. The internet, it knows everything about you. And I've got really bad news about that. You might have heard it in the bulletin. I'll come to that in just a moment. Meanwhile, here's a call in Thornton Heath. Hello, Sam.
Hello, I'm supposed
Sam.
to be on time.
I know, haven't I been lucky?
Well, the thing that confuses me, I think, is the London Underground. I can't get
What?
from... Yeah, it's really confusing.
No.
Yeah, it says Northern Line, District Line, Circle Line,
Yeah.
Overground, Underground. You get
A
from A to
wombling
B.
free, yeah.
And you just think, it's like a spaghetti junction. It's like a spaghetti junction,
No.
the map. It's
No, it
like
isn't.
a spaghetti
It's that map
puzzle.
is one of the greatest designs in human history.
No.
I think you'll find
it
that
very
that is
confusing.
correct.
Well, you go up the escalators and down the escalators, you end up somewhere else if you're not careful.
If you get on an
Read the
escalator,
escalator.
you are almost bound to end up somewhere else. You've got that right, yes.
No, I mean, from where you want to go,
Well, if that's the case, Sam, then may I suggest that you're on the wrong escalator?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all these circle and another word that confuses me is ill health. How can you be ill? Well, how can you have ill health? Either you're ill or you're healthy. What is
Yeah.
the point of ill health?
And here was
That
me
doesn't make sense.
thinking you were out of your mind. No, that is a good point. Yeah, but you have ill health. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't have health. You have ill health.
No, you're either ill or you're healthy. You can't have ill health. You're either healthy or you're ill.
Well,
Doesn't make sense, does it? Ill health. That's not right.
I suppose so. You've obviously given it a lot of thought, and it's made you very angry.
No.
A little
I'm
bit
not
angry,
No, but you know what I mean, don't you?
No.
It doesn't make sense, ill health, does it?
Well, I suppose not. No. It's the only thing you said so far
Ill,
that,
or you can either be healthy.
that almost makes sense. Yeah. If you're confused by London Underground, Sam, please do me a
Yeah.
favour. Do everybody
I always
who.
go with someone, my sister or somebody. I don't want to end up getting lost.
No,
and then,
well, then asking a local where to go. Yeah. Imagine how annoying for a local that would be. My best advice to you, Sam, is
to get around London, and if you sit on the top deck of a bus, it's like sightseeing. So that's a nice way to go around London on buses when there's no rush.
I think the best advice I can give to you, Sam,
Yeah.
is don't leave Thornton Heath. For the benefit of London commuters, please stay in Thornton Heath. Will you do that for
Oh
me?
no, I do get on the trams as well. Quite.
Trams? Oh, well, that's fine. Knock yourself
Trams are
out.
all right.
Yeah, trams. Stick to trams, Sam.
We get squashed in the underground,
Right, okay,
So
well,
many people.
you leave the underground to us, and you stick to the trams where we can avoid you. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, my dear. 0845 6060 973. Have you heard? We are being listened to. I bet people are listening to this now. And it's not just the Americans that are listening to us. It's worse than that. I'll come to that in just a moment. 0845 6060 973. Things that confuse you. And it doesn't have to be about economics. That's how I started off this issue. That's what confuses me, how experts of economics, people who are paid six-figure salaries in order to have, in order to pass on their expertise, they never agree with each other. They all say, it's not that they say slightly differing things, they say completely opposite things. That confuses me, more than a little. So, over to you, 0845 6060 973. What confuses you? This is Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
What number are you calling from?
0845 6060 973. They're listening to you. I'll come to that in just a minute. First of all, here's a call in Purley. Hello, Janet.
Oh, hi there, Nick.
Janet.
Now, what's confused me this week is driving on motorways, because we're having these penalties brought in, I hear,
Yeah.
for lane hoggers.
Right.
Or, what was it, tailgating. There's two instances.
Well, tailgating, yes. That
yeah,
drives me up the wall. You know, the stuff that you that happens to you when you don't have rear-mounted machine guns.
Yeah, that part of it doesn't worry me or confuse me so much. It's the hogging the middle lane. I mean, if I'm doing 70 in the middle lane, I'm keeping to the speed limit. Somebody's coming along behind me. Am I supposed to reduce my speed, go into the inside lane to 65 or something, and allow these guys on the middle lane? I mean, why can they not take me over on the outside lane, which is what it's for, surely?
Well, first of all, nobody does 70 in the middle lane, Janet.
Well, I do.
The middle lane is for people who do 80 miles an hour.
No, you're doing... You're going past the speed limit if you do 80.
Well, that's what driving on the motorway is, going faster than the speed limit. The people in the outside lane, they're doing 90. I don't
But what are these cameras for, then? Surely, I mean, that's fine. I'd like to go at that speed, but surely I look at the round and I see these little cameras.
Yeah.
Don't they get caught with speeding tickets if they're doing 90 and 80 all the time?
Well, apparently not. There aren't that many cameras on a motorway, and most people who use a motorway know where they are.
Oh, I see.
I don't. I sort of don't agree really with the notion that just driving in the middle lane is wrong. It depends. If you're going more slowly than the inside lane, which I see a lot, then obviously you should be asked to step out of your car and it should be crushed in front of you. But if you're going faster than the lane on your left, then why not just stay in the middle lane?
Yeah, because you have to come out again if you go in to the inside lane, and you can see there's a car a little way in front if you're doing 65 or something. You want to come out again, so you're going in and out all the time.
In and out.
Another thing, if I'm on the inside lane going at 70, which I do sometimes, I find there's congestion on the middle lane. I'm therefore overtaking. Is that legal? I'm not sure that you're supposed to be able to overtake.
Undertaking, you mean? I'm sure you're not supposed to undertake.
Yes.
But that's why God invented those things that stick out of wheels on the James Bond film. Those, I can't remember I don't even know what you would call them. But anyway, forget that. Just imagine that. Just pretend I didn't say that.
Well, they sound rather good, but anyway, that's my confusion this week. So I just don't want to be penalised when I'm on the motorway for doing something which I shouldn't be doing. Unaware of it, but of course now you've explained to me I should be doing 80 in the middle lane, so that's my problem, is it? I have to put my foot down more.
As long as you're going faster than the lane to your left, I don't see why you shouldn't be in the middle lane. I don't really see what the problem is, because people, most accidents are caused when people change lanes. You don't really have an accident if you're just stuck in one lane, because I mean, if everybody just stuck in the same lane, then why would you have an accident? I'm sure that accidents happen when people change lanes.
I know, and don't indicate.
Well, they don't indicate, or they don't see a car that's they can't see in their mirror because it's right next to them, or they don't see a bike that's coming, and all of the rest of it,
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, thanks a lot, Nick.
Thanks, Janet. Cheers, my dear. 0845 6060 973. I never did understand that, why people would freak out if you're a middle lane hogger. If you're going more slowly than the slow lane, then yes, I get it. But if you're going more quickly, then like hopping out of a lorry and overtaking a lorry, and then going back on the inside, and then coming out to go past somebody in an Austin Allegro, and then going back on the inside, and then going out to hop out and overtake another lorry, and then going back on the... that seems like a recipe for disaster to me. And also a very stressful journey. Just take my advice. Do what I do. Find yourself on a motorway, which I do frequently, and then just pick a lorry and sit behind it in the slow lane. And then put on some tunes on the stereo. Aerosmith works.
Rock and roll!
And just chill. And there's no overtaking. If the lorry slows down on a hill to 50, even 45, just do that speed. What difference does it make? I mean, unless you're travelling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles during the course of a week, then your arrival at your destination is going to be almost exactly the same as if you drove furiously. It's just the difference is you won't arrive feeling relaxed, and you will shorten your life. Just pick a lorry and sit behind it. You'll also save petrol. And you will be amazed at how calm and chilled you are on arrival. Groovy. 0845. You'll practically arrive asleep. 0845 6060 973. Here's calling Farnham. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Nick.
Jeff.
Nick, couple of things. An old chestnut, first of all. Weather forecasts, particularly on the radio, particularly on Radio 4, dear old BBC. Little fairy tales, they tell us. There's absolutely no clarity with it. It's just a rambling story.
Well, you see, if they're clear, then that gives people ammunition to use against them.
Yes, you are right, of course.
If they're very vague, then there's nothing you can say, well, you got that wrong.
Yes, cloudy is a very useful word, isn't it?
Partly cloudy. That's
partly cloudy,
phrase.
And it ends up baking hot. And but cloudy was okay, because there was one cloud there, you see. Yeah. The other thing, of course, is that why do we need people on the telly with weather forecasts? I mean, actors waving their arms about and looking good, usually looking pretty good. But do we need them? Because by then I'm looking at them, I'm not listening to the weather. I just need the weather.
It's the same as newsreaders. You watch somebody reading the news, and the first thing you think is, what's she wearing? Or what does he look like with that hair? But you're not really paying attention to anything they're saying.
And not only that, we've got the wonderful acting now, haven't we? The news. Fiona Bruce and George Alagaya have to act the news.
Well, they have to stand and practically do a dance through it. They're groovy new age set with all this whooping and swirling. It's like like you expect Anton Deck to come and present the news.
Well, I'm afraid that I get very challenged by my wife, who just, because I'm shouting all the time, just read it. Why don't you just read the news? Anyway, the second one, very quickly.
Why do people shout at the television? I do that too. They can't hear you.
And the radio and the traffic. But no, the other good one is we have a speedometer in front of us when we're driving, all very important. Why on earth would you need a rev counter? Why on earth would you need a rev counter? Who looks at it?
Exactly.
Nobody. That could have the weather on it.
Well, yeah, or the time.
Anything useful.
I've got an automatic car, and it's got a rev counter, which is the most useless dial in history, because there's nothing I can do to control it.
It's an affectation of go fast boys.
Yes, exactly right. It makes youthful men feel like they're Sterling Moss or whoever is the current equivalent.
And that little red bit at the end, if you ever revved to that red bit, the whole thing would blow up.
Well, exactly. You'd be picking bits of engine shrapnel out of your eyeballs.
That's it. Those are my two.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Cheers.
0845 6060 973. Yeah, I have a car and I treat it very, very well, which by which I mean I just don't drive it like an insane person. But every now and again you have to stamp your foot down, and it's... and I did so because I was on the inside lane and a lorry was overtaking me, and it signalled to pull back into the inside lane that I was on before it had passed me. And I thought, he can't see me. And so I better make my escape. And somebody was right behind me. I thought, I am sandwiched here. So instead of braking, I'll have to charge forwards, which in an automatic car means you just stamp your foot on the accelerator, and it's almost as though the entire car hitches up its skirts and belts to the horizon. But there's that moment that it thinks about it. And it changes down, and the engine suddenly starts making a noise that you've never heard before, because you're used to tootling around town at 20 miles an hour, and you don't really hear the engine. And it started to scream at me in the most alarming way. And then the smell of smoke filled the cabin, and I thought, I've killed it. So I may, I didn't actually, it didn't burst into flames at that moment, but I may have hastened its demise. Not my fault. I am a superb driver, as you can imagine. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbot, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbot.
I didn't like
like you. Do you like me?
Ken Lewison and David Mellor will be on from 10 on Saturday morning as they discuss the big political stories of the past 7 days, along with your calls. Amongst which will be after Ed Miliband made a bid to regain the upper hand in the benefits debate by pledging to cap the overall welfare bill. Are the plans vacuous nonsense, like what the Tories said? And as desperate David Cameron has been forced to give MPs a vote on whether we should supply arms to Syrian rebels, what do you think our role will turn out to be in the troubled country? All that and your calls with Ken Livingstone and David Mellor from 10, Saturday morning, LBC 97.3. Let's have a call in or around the Hindhead Tunnel. George.
Evening, Nick.
George.
Hello. Just to say, I really enjoy listening to you driving down the road.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, things that confuse me is why they keep shutting this tunnel. I don't know if you're aware of this tunnel. It keeps shutting down.
Tell me about the Hindhead Tunnel. It rings a bell.
Yeah, it's the longest one in Britain and it took 7 years to make. And you come down here of an evening and all of a sudden it's shut.
And where is it?
To go Hindhead.
Yeah, but where is that?
Past Guildford.
Oh, right, okay, Guildford.
Yeah.
And why does it shut all the time?
I'm just coming up to it now and it's got road closed again. So I've been listening to you and I'm thinking, what you are all talking about in the motorways and that, and yeah, I thought I'd let you know.
Why does the Hindhead Tunnel keep closing? I'll throw it out there, George, and perhaps we'll get an explanation.
I did email them, and they just said it's just for repairs, and I'm thinking, well, it's only 2 years old. Well, it's less than 2 years old.
I think when they said
about 11 times.
When they said repairs, George, what they actually meant was, don't question us, peasant.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's the impression I got, yeah.
Yeah. Learn your place.
Yeah. So I'm just heading up there now. I'm just going to go in it, and there's a lane closed. It's unbelievable.
No, believable. It's not unbelievable, George. It's believable. Believe it.
All right. That's all I wanted to say, and I love your show.
All right, thanks a lot, George. 0845 6060 973. Let me just pass this on, and then we can move along. Move along, please. Nothing to see here. The Verizon phone company has found itself at the centre of a major scandal in the US, as you heard on the Super Saw 08 news here, after it emerged that the National Security Agency, the NSA, is collecting the telephone records of millions of customers on an ongoing daily basis under a top-secret court order issued in April. Well, it's not top secret anymore. You're not secret anymore. The US is also reaching directly into the servers of Facebook, Google, and other internet companies to harvest data. The NSA's classified PRISM program reportedly allows the government to collect virtually limitless amounts of information from emails, pictures, and social media accounts. Verizon, on Thursday, battled to prevent a customer backlash by telling them it had no choice in the matter. The Obama administration justified the surveillance, claiming it was a crucial tool in protecting the nation from terrorist threats, or, as George Bush used to call them, terrorists.
Absolutely.
The two other American wireless providers, AT&T and Sprint, have also been receiving similar orders, as have credit card companies, sources told the Wall Street Journal. Verizon's court order did not just stop at the US shores, however. Washington called for Verizon to hand over all telephone records for communications between the United States and abroad, including calls routed via Verizon's UK subsidiary based in Reading. On Verizon's UK website, the company makes a point of telling customers it will help to defend them against spying by government agencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they're told otherwise, presumably. However, the US government's secret court order instructed Verizon to collect the numbers of people at either end of each call, information about their location, and the time and length of the conversation. So if you've called anyone in the States recently, they know where you live. When ordinary customers make calls out of the US, their network will connect them to the UK network they're calling, meaning Verizon has limited information about the calls. Did you understand that?
Negative.
Just go along with it for a moment. However, if it doesn't have extensive information about individuals calling, it has comprehensive details about business customers making calls to colleagues across the Atlantic, as their calls are kept within the confines of the same network. Verizon would have pulled information from its UK servers. And unlike the phone tracking program, where telecom companies are forced to hand over records, the NSA, the National Security Agency's classified PRISM program, appears to allow the NSA to freely search the tech firm's networks at any time. PRISM also allows the government access to the content of online accounts. You see all that privacy you're so keen to protect? Well, you don't have any. And it doesn't make any difference if you either have done anything wrong or you haven't. One of the reasons that people are so obsessed about privacy is not necessarily that they're doing anything wrong. It's just that if you upset someone on high, if you upset somebody powerful, all they'll have to do, even if you are almost utterly blameless, no one is completely blameless, but almost. All somebody will have to do in order to ruin your life is just to sit down, clack on a computer, and just find out everything about you as a fishing expedition. And with most people, it probably won't take too long to find something that they can use. That's why people are upset about this. Not necessarily because they're terrorists or they're bank robbers or anything like that. It's just that they know if they've upset somebody, maybe at the local council, for instance, or in the planning department, or whatever it might be. Or you have a dog that doo-dooed where it shouldn't have done. Then somebody can just look up you on the World Wide Web and trawl through all of this information that they have on you until they find something that they can use. A fishing expedition. And that's the future that we're looking at. But fortunately, it's only happening in America, right? No! Britain's listening post, GCHQ, has been secretly gathering intelligence from some of the world's biggest internet firms through America's National Security Agency, it was claimed today. The Guardian newspaper claimed that it had obtained documents that show that GCHQ, based in Cheltenham, has had access to the system since June 2010. Intelligence reports from GCHQ are normally shared with Britain's security services MI5 and MI6, and The Guardian said that the US-run program PRISM allowed GCHQ to circumvent the normal legal process required to seek personal material, such as emails, photographs and videos from an internet company based outside the UK. In other words, anything that you see or do or say or feel or touch, the government is peeking at you. So just stop it. The details of GCHQ's use of PRISM were set out in documents prepared for senior analysts working at America's National Security Agency, the biggest eavesdropping organisation in the world. And the papers described how the NSA and the FBI were able to get easy access to the systems of 9 of the world's biggest internet companies, like Google and Facebook and Microsoft, Apple, Yahoo and Skype, many of which are used daily by millions of Britons to send private messages. They're not private. But is anybody remotely surprised?
No.
No, I mean, did you actually think that what you were doing on the World Wide Web was a secret? The NSA has been able to obtain unilaterally both stored communications as well as real-time collection of raw data for the last 6 years. They know everything about you. This is without the knowledge of users, who would assume that their correspondence was private. The NSA's PRISM service has been made available to spy organisations from other countries, including our own. There's no such thing as privacy. There is no such thing as privacy. There is no such thing as privacy. Not no more. Here's a call in Barnet. Hello, Mark.
Nick.
Mark.
I'm still very confused about my fuel bills, my energy bills.
Yeah, I had a letter in the post the other day saying that due to the excellent way that they manage their affairs, it's going up by a massive amount.
I still don't know what tariff I'm on. Why is there more than one tariff?
If you look at the internet provider or the internet site of your provider, Mark, I'd be amazed if you couldn't come up with 20 different tariffs.
Because I wanted to be on the most expensive one, of course.
Yeah. Well, you almost certainly are. Congratulations.
Yeah. And the government, they said they were going to step in and do something.
Oh, yeah. That's what they'll do. They'll protect us.
And then we forget about it. And then the profits are announced, and then we get annoyed again.
£1,500 a year, that's what they say I'm going to be spending on gas and electricity. And I don't even like gas and electricity.
I don't even know. I've got no idea what my bills are. They keep saying we're going to put my bills up per month, and I keep saying, well, I'll decide that.
Well, this is what they count on. Same with banks. They absolutely rely on people not being bothered. They're thinking it's too much of a faff to change your supplier, so we'll just stick with it forever. Same as insurance companies. That's why they jack up the cost of insurance every year, because most of the people won't bother to look for a cheaper alternative.
And your bank account. No one changes their bank account.
Precisely. That's why banks are fighting with each other for a position to be the bank on campus at universities, because they know that if a student opens a bank account when they're 18, they'll still have the same bank account when they're 80.
Yeah.
Evil, nasty people. And they're allowed to get away with it, Mark, because we can't be bothered to challenge them. We can't be bothered to help ourselves, essentially. You sound very upset.
I can't be bothered, Nick.
You can't be bothered to be upset.
I can't be bothered to be upset. I haven't got enough time to be upset.
OK, good man. Thanks a lot, Mark. 0845 6060 973. That's one of the reasons that fuel bills are going up and up and up, is because people essentially can't be bothered to take the time. And it is a large amount of time. I mean, if you're going to contact any major organisation, you have to set aside the day. Because there'll be a phone line that you ring with 86 different options on it, none of which you can get right the first time, and around and around and around you go, and nothing ever happens. It's painful. You have to be committed. And afterwards you may well be. But they rely on you not doing anything. That's why the bills go up. And the bills also go up because, unless I'm getting this completely wrong, it's not insider trading, but it's collusion of a sort. I'm absolutely convinced that the major energy suppliers are colluding with each other in order to, the end result is that we get ripped off. I mean, it seems likely, does it not, that they all know what each other charges. I mean, all they have to do is to ring up their competitor and ask them as a member of Joe Public. And so if they all know what each other charges, and they all charge suspiciously the same, more or less, and the rates that they charge are so deliberately opaque that you've got absolutely no idea. You have to rely on them telling you the cheapest, because it's practically impossible for a layperson to figure it out themselves. And it's not in their interest to tell you the cheapest. So that's probably the reason why. That's one of the reasons why we get ripped off over and over again, is because we can't be bothered to stick up for ourselves. It's too much trouble. Hi, Wickham. Tony.
Yeah, hi, Nick. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Good. I just wanted to get back to those middle lane drivers.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I'm just wondering what your take is on this. The people I disagree with is the left-hand side lane is completely clear. There's a driver in the middle lane. He's doing about 65, 70 miles per hour. I come along on the near side lane. If I want to overtake that person, I've got two choices here. I can go across two lanes, go into the outside lane and overtake, which is probably more dangerous, or overtake him on the inside. They definitely don't seem to want to. The inside lane is completely clear. But for some unknown reason, there seems to be quite a lot of people that will not move over to the left-hand side lane.
I think for two reasons.
Why is this?
Well, for two reasons. Let me guess. The first reason is they have no idea that they're doing something wrong.
But I overtake a lot of these people on the inside, so they must really. I've gone on the inside, and there's somebody else overtaking them on the outside, so they're being overtaken on the left and the right. So surely they must come to some sort of conclusion.
No, Tony, we're talking about stupid people here.
Yeah.
By which I mean everybody else on the road. Everybody else on the road is a stupid idiot. Don't forget that, and you won't go far wrong.
Well, well, I'm sure that's not the case. I mean, we all, nobody's a perfect driver.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's a good idea to try and educate people to
Right.
drive on the left. I mean, it's no big deal.
Right, so for the two reasons are, A, and I firmly believe that a lot of people have no idea that they're doing something wrong, and the second reason is because people have it in mind that to be in the slow lane is the loser lane. It's the lane that is reserved for old people in rubbish cars that don't go fast. And so that's why they don't want to be found in the slow lane, because they think it's almost... I was going to say it's almost certainly men, but you know what? Women are just as bad at drivers as I've seen some shocking driving from women, like aggressive and unhelpful and inconsiderate and all the rest of it. They're just as bad as men are. You know that's true. So it's a threat to their. See, it doesn't work if it's women too, but masculinity, their superiority, their dominance to be in the slow lane. That's why they stick to the middle lane.
Yeah, but I mean, even you see, the thing is, if there's nobody else around, if the slow lane is completely clear, then surely this is not an argument for that.
No, well, I agree with you. Yeah. On the other hand, if the slow lane is packed, and you're going faster than the slow lane, then I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be in the middle lane.
That's fine. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
My only issue is where the slow lane is completely clear for like half a mile ahead.
Right. Then get in the slow lane. Yeah.
They're sticking to the middle lane and they won't pull over. And you come along on the left-hand lane because it's completely clear, and to overtake that person, you've got to go right out to the other side. That's my only problem.
No, I get it.
Everybody pays their road tax, or most people do. I've got no problem with people driving in any lane whatsoever. But if the left-hand lane is completely clear,
then get over. Exactly, pull over.
But why? I don't understand. I mean, I know what you're saying. I mean, the second point I've never actually heard of before. That is to do with sort of old people driving.
They just don't want to be seen as someone who drives in the slow lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to... I might as well make another comment while I'm on the telephone there about these electricity companies and all that, because you were saying it's to do with people, they won't change because they can't, it's too much hassle to get through and it's impossible to change. It's a long drawn-out process.
It's an effort.
There's so many different...
you have to actually do something to help yourself, and people aren't prepared to do that.
But why? I mean, there's so much... the government is obviously concerned about inflation. I mean, I know they were trying to do something, but surely they can sort of set up some sort of organisation to help people.
Well, we got one of those. And they're doing a fantastic job, I think you'll agree.
Negative.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Tony.
Okay, then. Cheers.
Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the... How does that song go? Keep your... Pink polka dot to bikini. No, wait, it's... I'm sitting in the back here, kissing and hugging with Jeff or something. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel, and keep your... how does that go? I bet Michael Amherst, a stand-in assistant for Amanda, wants to find out the lyrics to that song immediately, if not sooner. Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road ahead, and I'm just sitting in the back kissing and hugging with Ted, or something like that. Is that enough information to be going along with?
Yeah, I can work with that.
Okay, then. Here is Banstead. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello there.
Charlotte, hello there.
Are you feeling better?
I suppose so, yeah.
Good.
Oh, I did have that accident and emergency thing. I didn't talk about that,
Yeah,
did
I heard you mention that.
I'm on drugs you have to keep in the fridge, Charlotte.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I'm sorry for you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes,
then.
Do. About your subject, about what causes you confusion.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a subject I don't think people like talking about, but have you seen all the flooding that's been going on in Europe, all the European countries now?
Flooding?
All the flooding? Flooding. They haven't had it for years, all this flooding.
Where's
Germany?
Where's that, then?
Germany. Czechoslovakia, some other countries, I can't quite remember all of them, but there are a few. And there's really flooded. Dresden in Germany, Berlin.
Oh, yes.
And they haven't been flooded for years and years.
Well, that'll be
And
global warming then, I expect.
Yeah, I was going
Or
to say.
climate
and so I'm
change.
so confused that people still don't believe in climate change or global warming, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
I mean,
the Minister for the Environment, doesn't he? Isn't he a denier?
oh, I haven't heard about that. But,
Yeah, wind farms have been branded a complete scam by Environment Secretary Owen Paterson, no less. And I know what you're thinking, Charlotte. Who the hell is Owen Paterson?
Yeah, I am, yes.
And then there's Tim Yeo. Humans may not be responsible for global warming, according to Tim Yeo, the chairman of the Commons Energy and Climate Change Committee.
Yeah, but haven't you noticed over the world the number of flooding?
Extreme weather events seem to be on the up, yeah.
Yeah, the sea levels are rising, you see.
I don't think that's true.
And what annoys me and confuses me is when people come on the radio and the people that don't believe in global warming, they get really annoyed with the people that do.
Yeah. Why can't people just get along?
Yeah, why can't we get along? Why can't we all believe in the same thing?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? It would make life a little bit more boring, but things would rub along more smoothly, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Charlotte. Keep your eyes peeled. 0845 6060 973. So we have a song lyric, but it's not the right one. Keep your eyes on the road, your hands upon the wheel. Not that one. We're going to the Roadhouse, we're going to have a real good time.
Yowza.
That's the Doors. That's not the one I'm talking about at all. It's a 50s, a cutesy little song that I'm thinking of. Not the Doors, not the Lizard King. It's something much more like bubblegum than that. Someone will know who that is. Here is a confused call in Reigate. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Nick.
Alan.
Yeah, keep your hands on the wheel and your beady eyes on the road ahead.
Something like that.
In the back, kissing and hugging with Fred.
With Fred, yeah.
That's right. It is a 50s one. It's quite a funny one at the time.
Kissing and a hugging with Fred.
With Fred.
That's what we need to look up. That is the phrase to
That's the phrase, and
Google.
that'll tell you who it is. Anyway, I was confused because Scotland won 1-0 tonight with the second squad against Croatia, who were the top team in the qualifying group, and yet we couldn't beat the Faroe Islands.
How did that happen? Who scored? Was it an own goal?
No, Snodgrass. No, it was a bloody good goal.
Right.
Snodgrass scored it, and the Croatians just couldn't get through the Scottish defence.
That's why a Croatian was pictured lying on the pitch at the end, unable to believe what just had happened.
It couldn't, and I mean, Scotland are now taking Zagreb apart. There's McEwens and whiskies and all sorts being consumed, and there's a wee chuckness running around Zagreb in their kilt.
Yeah, no doubt. Neds and numpties, one and all.
Yeah, so I thought that would be a happy confusion.
Although the Tartan Army, the Tartan Army, you know, can you remember back in the 70s and 80s when football was a much more violent pursuit for fans anyway, and the England-Scotland fixture was always among the most. It was always the most. Well, it's sort of important for both countries, but particularly Scotland. And I being in, like growing up in Scotland as I was, I went to school in Scotland, of course, I used to be right in the thick of it. And when Scotland were playing England in England, the Tartan Army would arrive en masse and completely take over the West End of London. And they received no there was no repelling from the locals at all. They just swept in and took over, right?
Yeah.
The inverse is not true. When England were playing Scotland in Scotland, no such army arrived to take over. No.
They haven't got the same sort of feeling about the game. I mean, our guys used to lift the pitch and take it back to Scotland. There are people I know who've got bits of Wembley turf in little boxes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought that would bring a lighter side.
Scotland beat Croatia 1-0. No one can believe it. Most of all,
they were
Scotland.
7-1 Scotland.
Well, there's another. There's another. How much were they?
7-1.
7-1.
Tenner would have got you 80 quid back.
Yeah, but there's another 80 quid I haven't won.
Exactly.
I'll add that to the 120 million pound I lost on the lottery last week.
Oh, gosh.
Exactly.
You see that person who's won that Thunderball thing, or a Powerball, $560 million, and it hasn't been claimed? Now, that would confuse me as well.
Yeah. Are you trying to upset me?
No, but how could you miss something like that?
Well, presumably you don't think that you've won it. I mean, I assume that I have. Most people assume that they haven't.
I love your positivity on that one.
Yeah.
You always think you've won.
Well, you know what? I have a really good feeling about this evening. It's 80 million quid, and I could put that to excellent use.
So could I. Join the club. Okay, bud.
Thanks a lot, Alan. I'll call you from Monaco. No begging letters, please.
On FM, LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
I like the walkie-talkie. It's better than the gherkin. You can't say gherkin without saying 0845 6060 973. Some texts and emails. Ed says, I'm confused. Why on earth is the lane furthest away from the middle of the motorway called the inside lane? When I drive on the left or slow lane, I'm actually on the outside of the motorway. Yeah, I suppose you are, yeah. Don't confuse me any further, Ed. Tim says, I'm glad we're being monitored by Big Brother. I thought I was going mad talking to myself, but now I know that someone's listening, I feel much better. I actually passed somebody in the street, and out of the corner of my eye I thought, that is a vagrant person. And they were standing up straight, talking to themselves. And my first thought was, well, they're just, they're having a mental holiday. And my second thought was, oh no, they might be actually talking to someone on a phone, from their earpiece. And people in London do often look like vagrants even when they're not. We're not very dress-uppy. So there goes another indicator of people that you want to give a swerve to. You don't know whether they're mad or just having a chat. Let's have Twickenham. Hello, Elaine.
Hello there, Nick.
Elaine.
I've often thought I'd ring up about something terribly serious, and now I find myself ringing you up about something very frivolous. It's the song.
That song. Now, I had the lyrics up from one moment ago. Where are they? There they are. Yeah, the song.
I'm pretty sure it's called Seven Little Girls. I've no idea who it's by.
Seven Little Girls Sitting in the Backseat by Paul Evans.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I can sing it for you if you want. I can't be sure I'll get it perfect. Well, and I'll be remembering it from the original, because as a very, very young child, I used to pick these songs up when I heard them on the radio, but was too young to know who they were by, so...
Well, Paul Evans is, if I wasn't actually reading it off the World Wide Web, then I'd be sitting here from now until the end of time trying to remember that name.
Me too.
How cutesy a song is it, though?
It is quite cutesy.
Yeah.
It won't be that cutesy when I sing it, because my voice has dropped a couple of octaves since I first started singing it, which was 50-odd years ago.
If anybody is a diabetic, they might want to turn the radio off now, because this is so sugary, it's painful.
Shall I have a go?
Well, let's see how far we get before I can't stand it anymore. Go ahead.
You're going to cut me off straight away, isn't that good? Right, okay. Seven little girls sitting in the back seat, kissing and cuddling with Fred. I said to one of them, why don't you sit beside me? And this is what the seven girls said. All
together now. 1, 2, 3. Keep your mind off your... Let's just say it. Not that this is a criticism of any kind.
Oh, okay.
But all together now, 1, 2, 3. Keep your mind on your driving. Keep your hands on the wheel, and keep your snoopy eyes on the road ahead.
Road ahead. 50 eyes, I think.
No, Snoopy.
Oh, you're reading it, are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's because I must have heard it wrong in 1959 or whenever it was. We're having fun.
Sitting in the back seat.
kissing and
hugging with Fred, which sounds, at best, perverted, and at worst, some sort of sexual crime.
Yes, it does. But it didn't then, obviously.
No, they were different times.
They were different times.
And plus, it was presented in such a cutesy, sugary way that even if you were singing the words, you weren't really paying much attention to what they meant.
I was a cutesy, sugary little toddler.
I'm sure you were.
I were.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Elaine, and you haven't lost any of your your appeal. Exactly right. Thanks for that.
Good night.
Ta-da, 0845 6060 973. What sort of perverted song is this? 7 little girls sitting in the back seat, hugging and kissing with Fred. Drove through the town, drove through the country, showed 'em how a motor could go. I said, how'd you like my triple carburettor? And one of them whispered low. All together now, 1, 2, 3. Keep your mind on your driving, keep your hands on the wheel, and keep your snoopy eyes on the road ahead. We're having fun, sitting in the back seat, kissing and hugging with Fred. Dee-doody-doom-doom, dee-doody-doom-doom, dee-doody-doom-doom-doom-doom. They don't write them like that anymore. Not even Sting could write that anymore. Da-do-do-do, da-da-da-da. See? Weak by comparison. All of them in love with Fred. All 7 little girls sitting in the back seat, kissing and hugging with him. Wish that I could be like Fred. That's what the lyrics of the song say. I'm not making this up. That is what they say. He said, desperately trying to find the sound effect that he's after. There's one that I don't play, so I don't really know where it is. Ah!
Disgusting.
Thank you. At last, a word of sanity. Here is, who's been waiting the longest? Orpington. Hello, Ray.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, hello, Ray.
Another song from that era you don't hear very much often anymore. I wonder why. Standing on the corner, watching all the girls go by.
Right.
With some, I don't think that's very PC anymore, is it?
No.
If you want total privacy, I'd suggest Watford. I mean, some of us have got a future serving hamburgers. A much smaller number belong serving Bilderburgers. I gather...
Oh, that was shocking. But true.
Yep, I gather Labour as well as Tories are among those summoned to the headmaster's study. Yeah. I mean, why don't the media keep badgering these head boys to reveal the curriculum? I mean, were they there for instruction only or discipline? As for this PRISM organisation, I mean, they're welcome to snoop on my computer history. I mean, let me know if they turn up anything interesting. Let me know if they turn up anything at all, for that matter. But I suppose they don't bother with radio broadcasts, do they? I mean, but then I've never said anything remotely piquant. But in all seriousness, I mean, with this concern about lobbying and bribery, I mean, all interests are supposed to be publicly registered, except in Prince Charles overtures, but they're small beer beside our puppet master's choreography. I mean, it couldn't be less democratic, could it?
Well, it just, people do get very hot under the collar about this, and conspiracy theorists start to bellow about it, and it's... I think they're right and they're wrong at the same time. I think they're wrong in that it's not an overarching conspiracy that people are carving the world up, that is the plan.
No, it's always been served.
Well, perhaps, but that wasn't the stated plan. It's just that that's what happens when people who represent large corporations and governments get together. Just like if a fella who owns a carpet company and another guy who owns a cab company. If they meet on the golf course, they might say, well, I'll get you a cab home if you can give us a discount on a carpet. And you magnify that up to defence industries and governments, and that's just what happens, because that's what people are like.
Well, of course, but I mean, the fact that you've got Labour, the top of the Labour Party there, as well as the top of the Tory Party there, now, they have argument in Parliament. What's actually happening there? Are they simply there receiving instructions on this is what we expect you to do? It's not the question of a shadowy mastermind. There's nothing shadowy about it. We know the clout these organisations have. Yeah. If they are issuing instructions, we have a democratic right to know precisely what those instructions are.
Well, it's probably not instructions, Ray. It's just people doing each other favours for the benefit of themselves. That's the problem.
But what's the point of trying to moderate and put legal controls over lobbying, which is tiny in comparison to actually summoning all the leaders of the world to a secret meeting?
Well, it's different. It's not tiny by comparison. It's the same thing. I mean, if a tobacco company pays for lunch with a politician, or they send them on a fact-finding trip to Virginia or whatever it might be, then it's the exact same thing as a defence company meeting over coffee and biscuits in Watford. It's not small by comparison. It's the same thing. It's giant companies pouring money at our political masters in order to get them to do things that would benefit them personally.
But then there's no accountability if we don't know. Obviously, every business transaction cannot be made public. We don't live in an ideal world. But lobbying is seen to be corrupt and open to, abuse if the whole thing isn't abuse.
Well, that's right. Well, that's what lobbying is, though. It is corrupt and it is abuse. There's no positive spin on lobbying. That's what it is. It's organisations trying to persuade governments to do things that are in the organisation's interest, which almost by definition are out with our interests. That's what lobbying is.
But there should be minutes, there should be an agenda, or this should be published.
Well,
when national security is involved, okay, but in the simple idea of company interest, it should be, as you say, open and
I agree with you, but you don't believe for a second that the machinations of government in Westminster are any more open than they are in what they're doing over the weekend in Watford. It's just that we can't see them going in and out in their car. That's the only difference.
But there's the pretence that it's open. At least we deserve the pretence of democracy.
Oh, I don't know. That might be... Yeah, but to me that's worse. To pretend that it's open and it not be is worse than to admit that it's not open.
But it renders the whole process of democracy ridiculous. If you are going to say, right, the real power brokers are here and you are not to know what it is, just as real... sort of influence of Prince Charles or the Queen went in with the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate the arguments about, she can't have the meetings recorded. I understand. But if you're going to say we're going to keep tabs on all these dealings lower down, but once a year or once every 2 years, however often these people meet, you're to have absolutely no access to what is said, it renders the whole of the rest of the system preposterous joke.
Well, as you described, it is, because, politicians don't have to meet the head of a defence company directly in order to do business. They just, there'll be a phone call, or it'll be their representatives meet for a quick chat and, whatever it might be. And this is just how things are done. And I would rather it be more clearly opaque than opaquely unclear. Does that make any sense?
I want to know at which stage in the proceedings does the floor show start and they start shedding their skin, that's the bit I want to see. They do the transformation bit. If somebody had a secret camera smuggled in.
Yeah, who's going in those blacked-out limos, by the way? It's high-class hookers who are having to be bussed in from elsewhere into Watford because the local talent is not quite up to the exalted expectations of those who are attending.
I just thought it was a load of birds' eggs for when they transformed, but I must have been wrong.
Thanks a lot, Ray. 0845 6060 973. Some texts and emails. I am nearly 38 and a half, and I get confused by social networking websites. Says this one. What's confusing me is I keep waking up too early when I usually get up late. Yeah, that's happening to me. I am sleep deprived, which is why I am babbling so much. No, Nick, you're not babbling. You're making perfect sense. Don't beat yourself up so much. Yeah, I go to bed late and I'm waking up very, very early. What's that about? And then I go and have a nap and I sit there furiously not sleeping. I am confused about best before and use by dates. Yeah. What's the difference between a best before and a use by date? They're the same. This one says, the number infinity confuses me. It's so large that any number you think of is tiny compared to infinity. On the other hand, there are an infinite number of fractions between the numbers 0 and 1. But 0 and 1 are finite. I understood that. Confusion is finding a tenner halfway between the pub and the betting shop. Yes. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbot, LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbot.
Let's go. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC 97.3, Friday and Saturday night from 10. Boreham Wood. Hello, Barbara.
Hi there.
Barbara.
Doctors.
Doctors.
Yeah. Why don't they tell us what's wrong with us instead of putting down all this gibbery douche that we don't even know? It's in your throat. I've got something wrong with my throat. They don't say that. They come out with all this
Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a broken leg, They have the physio, they have the this, they have the that, they have this, that, and the other. Why can't they just tell us in plain writing? You go to the pharmacy to give your tablets in, and they're like looking at, and they can't even read the writing.
Yeah, that always concerned me, that if a doctor is writing a prescription and the person that's filling out the prescription can't read it...
And they can't even write ibuprofen. I mean, please.
Ibuprofen.
Whatever it is. Yeah. I'm Irish. But why can't they write ibuprofen? They have to write something in
else.
Latin, and they have to... The Latin things of, I think, regarding what we need has got to go, and we need to know in English what we want. I've got a sore leg, I need this. I've got I need an anadin. I don't need...
That never worked for me, actually, when I tried that. I took a couple of those the other night.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Didn't work at all.
And you look at and you go and they go, what do you need? And I'm like, I don't know. The doctor told me that's what I need.
Yeah.
And you haven't got a clue.
I think one of the reasons that they use jargon is to keep us out, in much the same way as lawyers speak a language unto themselves.
No, but they're writing as well. It's not just their jargon. It's look at their words. How do you know what the doctor writes?
Well, your doctor surely has got a machine on his desk called a computer, hasn't he? Can't he type it out and have it printed out?
Not nowadays. No. That was years ago.
Well, they're going backwards in Boreham Wood, are they?
Exactly. No, but this is it. Why can't they just print it out and say, this is what you need?
You need to change your doctor, Barbara.
No.
Like I said, your doctor is fantastic. Stick with him or her.
Cheers.
084... Have you ever taken that blah, 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 by the way? They don't work too much. No, not very good. And they disagree with alcohol. So they're right out. Here's one in New York. Hello, Alan.
Oh, hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm very confused.
Yes.
And I think basically it's because I live in America. I think that's just it. But the whole thing with the NSA and the infringement on privacy, there is a total and complete apathy among American people about this subject. The story broke early in the week. And I work in a business where I talk to a lot of people every day, 20, 30, 40 people. And most people don't even know, and those that do know have completely no opinion on it. Whereas a short while ago, there was complete and total national outrage that we were going to use X-ray machines at the airports, or they might be able to see your private part.
Yeah.
It was a national debate of epic proportions. It was humongous. It was everywhere.
Well, they might be able to see your winky at the airport, Alan.
Well, that would definitely confuse them if that happened. But And I found it's not really confusion. I found, and I just wanted to give a perspective on what people are talking about over here. They're actually, no one's talking about it until Fox News that represents the Republican, or somebody like MSNBC, or even the Comedy Channel. Politics has become so polarized here, and the American people tend to wait to find out what their opinion is going to be once Fox News has told them and once MSNBC has told them. So the only outrage right now in the U.S. is in the media. The actual public don't seem to give a damn.
Well, it fits right into Fox News's narrative that the current administration there, the administration of Barack Obama, is beset with crises, and at the moment they seem to have located quite a lot of them. This being the latest one. It can't be any surprise to anybody. I mean, perhaps this is one of the reasons that people aren't that upset about it, is that they thought that they were doing this all along, that the government is listening into your phone calls, and they're checking what websites you're visiting, and they're rooting about in your email account with both hands. I mean, is anybody surprised by that?
No, I think you're right. I don't think anyone is surprised. But what is slightly surprising is the right-wing media have not grabbed this. And I'm just waiting for the crazy stories and the big red alerts in the graphics on the Fox News telling us, but they're not even talking about it.
Well, they will. I mean, they're still talking about. They're talking about the IRS, America's tax office, going after right-wing organisations, and that surely doesn't come as a surprise either. I mean, you'd think that would be the default position of any government, that any organisation that is a threat to them, they will try to get by whatever means possible, because it's war out there. I mean, it seems that Fox News has declared war on Barack Obama and his and the Democrats. Well, would it be a surprise if the Democrats fought back? Well, no.
Well, I don't know. I've having watched the Democrats over the last 4 or 5 years, and they don't fight, and that's the problem. They don't fight. They were given so many opportunities. The Congress is run by the Republicans right now, the Senate, and the Democrats just take it on the chin. They don't fight.
Well, they're more wishy-washy. Yes, they're more. It's as though they make their mind up depending on the issue, whereas the Republicans' stated aim is to disagree with everything that the Democrats propose on principle, just so that they won't be appeasers. It is as though they have declared war.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I feel that right now, people like Fox and the right-wing radio, because the radio, Rush Limbaugh and people like this, I think they're just sitting back and enjoying this.
Oh, loving it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's much better for them to be in opposition than it is for them to be in power, because you can't complain so much if it's your own people who are doing the screwing up.
You're completely, totally right.
Yeah.
But it's just living in America's confusion, though, Nick, day by day.
Well, you're living in New York, Alan. A state of perpetual confusement is natural.
Right.
Just go with it.
It's great. I love it, man. It's like being a permanent tourist. It's great.
Yeah. Try and find a tree. If you do nothing else for the rest of this week, Alan, try to find a tree. See if you can do it. Thanks a lot, mate. 0845 6060 973. There's only 2 cities on Earth that would have a hope of competing for being the best city on Earth. Be honest. I mean, I'm talking about theatre, arts, art galleries, museums, just diversions of all types. Diversions, amusements, restaurants, the full exciting panoply of what it is to be a human being alive today. And there are only 2 places which have such an intense concentration of those things. And one is New York and one is London. And London wins because it's a more livable place. And it looks nicer. You look at any of those American chat shows. We used to get David Letterman. And he was forever having the cameras go out into the street, and it would show some hideous urban grot-scape, And he would say, look, New York, it's... And for the longest time, I didn't know whether he was actually kidding, but I don't think he was. I think he feels quite strongly, positively towards that city that he's in. And he says, look at how beautiful it is. You'd be presented with an image of a complete hideousness, such that you'd actually want to heave your television out of the window just to stop it offending your eye. Nowhere in London looks that bad. And almost nowhere in New York, apart from Central Park itself, which is this area of green that they deal drugs in and shoot each other. Well, it certainly used to be the case when I was there. Don't go in there after dark. You won't emerge alive. But apart from that, it's a lovely place to visit, not to live. I'm sure it would just it would grind you up and spit you out. Visit, don't live. But if you're going to visit for more than 2 days, which is the period that I allowed myself last time I went there, which is not enough. It's not enough to get over the flight. And you're only just feeling like a human being again, and you've got to repeat the process by coming back, after which you will feel like death, if you haven't been killed already in New York. 0845 6060 973, text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @lbc973. This is LBC 97.3, the time, 12:30.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC 973. This is London's biggest conversation with Nick Abbott.
I love this story. This is a story that keeps giving and giving. Britain's listening post, GCHQ, has been secretly gathering intelligence from some of the world's biggest internet firms through America's National Security Agency. They've been poking about in your life, rooting around in your underwear drawer. They've been peeking into Google and Facebook and Microsoft, Apple and Yahoo and Skype, which is all of them. And they quoted as saying on the news, which is the part I love the most. They say, nothing to see here, please move along. We did it within a legal policy framework. That is what they said. Of course, it's easy to do anything within a legal policy framework if you're the people that are writing the framework. You can be acting within the law if you're the ones that are writing the law. I've probably got that right.
Correct.
Here's a call in Kennington. Hello, Audrey.
Good evening, Nick.
Audrey.
While I've been waiting, the telephone's been beeping intermittently every few seconds.
That's suspicious.
I know. Now, that meeting that these guys have every year, and they're out in Watford,
yeah.
I was thinking, if we the people, the regular people,
ordinary
the workers,
people like you and me, yeah.
Yes, decided that we were going to find some, I don't know, whether it's trade unionists or whoever wanted to represent our interests, if we sort of found some leaders to represent the people from the same country where these other leaders have come from, gave them an invitation to come to our little get-together next year down at Peckham Park Hotel and the industrial site,
yeah.
found our own security, put a blackout on the media, banned the whole lot of them, no police, nobody,
right.
Just us and our representative, cordon off the industrial housing estate that we're going to be on.
Yeah.
What do you think our great and our goods would make of that?
I think they would make mincemeat of it, Audrey.
They would have the domes above us, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think that we would be riddled with bullet holes.
I mean, in all seriousness, I have said, and I am demented now, I'm 57, I've been saying since I was 20-odd, that I think everything that happens, and I'm looking back 30s, 40s, 50s, I've gone back and actually made it my business to go and find out what's what. I think everything that happens today, it's with planning. It's planning decades ahead.
Wow.
It's no accident.
Like you said, Audrey, you are demented. Are you kidding?
Nick,
The people who are running things couldn't run, well, let's think of something that's really easy to run. A bath, a whelk stall. They couldn't run a gropathon in a brothel.
Well, the individuals, because, we have a different prime minister, different whatever. But no, the plan of these organisations, our rulers, way back from First World War, all the way up till now.
Yeah.
Every single thing that's happening, these major industrialised countries, is controlled, is planned.
I really don't believe that. I think that they just are blown along like rudderless ships, just like the rest of us. It's just that they're in more of a position to take advantage of whatever happens. They're not planning this stuff. It's like trying to plan the weather.
Well, I'd love to believe that, but looking at what's happening in the Far East, Africa, and the rest of it now, I think, no, it is not a coincidence. I mean, Mali. Oh, we're not going off there. We won't be sending any guns. Syria. Huh? What did Haig say? Definitely no arms. We will not be getting involved. Now, am I the only one with my ears cleaned out? My eyesight is not that good. What? Where is the oil?
Yeah.
What happened
Where is the oil?
To Afghanistan, Iraq? What about the Chinese now turning up?
I understand your concerns, Audrey. I just don't believe that anybody is smart enough to plan this. I just think that they're individuals taking advantage of the situation as much as they can. That's all. They're just going along with it. They're not planning it.
Oh, Nick, they are. They are. I promise you they are.
Our own government and the one previously couldn't install a computer system. Spent hundreds of millions of pounds trying to install a simple computer system, and they did it over and over and over again. And they failed every time.
I don't think they failed. I think you're missing the point.
Oh, it's deliberate.
It's deliberate, right. Because what happened...
Well, that does make sense.
Those contracts are given to their crony friends because it's taxpayers' money. That is the way they appropriate the funds, the riches of the country that belong to the regular guys.
I thought they were just dopes, but you have opened my eyes, Audrey. They're not dopes. They're not geniuses.
What they do is the people that come on and say we're the hard-working people, they're the people that get the contracts. They're the people that are robbing this country blind. It isn't a coincidence.
I thought that they were just ineffectual. I thought that they had a slender grasp on what it was that they were supposed to be doing.
All right.
That they just had an inability to do the job at hand. But what you're actually saying is that they were executing their tasks to perfection and thereby looking like they were dopes.
Every company that they're associated with, that they're having meeting with now in Watford, those are the same companies that are not paying corporation tax.
Well, that is true.
It's too suspicious. Am I going mad?
Yes.
There's 8 million of us in London.
It's an unrelated question. It's an unrelated question to what we're talking about here, Audrey. But the answer is yes.
I need Tony to come on tonight and back me up.
All right, Audrey. Well, I'll see what I can do. Cheers, my dear. 0845 6060 973. Keep your ear to the ground. And if there are any developments, then call me back straight away. Call me back after 1. I won't be here. Some texts and emails. Oh, blimey, there's loads of them. I'll never get through this lot. I'm confused why people will make fun of redheads, why people hate vegetarians, and why people in cars want to kill cyclists. I am confused. I'm a confused redheaded vegetarian cyclist. Please be nice to me, says Sue. Well, you know, I heard a terrible thing about redheads. I just read it once, and I don't know whether it's true or not. And it's that I don't even think I want to say it on the air. Perhaps I shouldn't. Shh, don't say it. Or pretend that I didn't say it. This is just what I read. That the red-haired gene, and I am speaking as hair colour changes as you get older. But I used to be a redhead. And what I read was that red-headed people, the red-headed gene is the result of incest. Shh, don't say it. That's what I read. Incest. Shh. So that would furnish an explanation as to why there is enmity towards redheads. Other than that, it didn't make any sense. Why do people hate vegetarians? Well, people don't hate vegetarians. It's just that it's difficult accommodating their needs when you go to restaurants or to somebody else's house for dinner, for instance. I mean, announcing as the host is cutting up a meatloaf that you only want to eat the potatoes, big problem. And why do people in cars want to kill cyclists? Well, that's just everybody hating everybody else. People on bikes want to kill people in cars. It's the same thing. This says, I'm confused about why people are prepared to pay so much for coffee. Yes. What's wrong with a nice, reliable cup of instant at a sensible price? Why do we need cappuccinos for exclamation marks? Question marks, rather. I share your confusion. And this one says, Nick, I'm confused by the spelling of my name. Siobhan, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You can't even pronounce it from its bonkers spelling. I blame the parents, says Siobhan. That is what it looks to me. Wembley. Hello, Celia.
Hello.
Celia.
Well, all this confusion, I'd like to put a little bit of enlightening there.
Yeah.
It's the best before and used by dates.
Right. Same thing.
No, not really. No, because they're what they're advising you is the best before dates really means that's when it's at its best.
Yeah.
But you can go a bit further, but you use your common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Take milk. If you get skimmed milk, it's got no fat on it, and that lasts longer. Well beyond.
But that's just like white water. Why would anybody drink skimmed milk?
That's all I use.
Awful.
I know, but I need it. And
I've given up milk altogether. I drink.
You get used to it, though.
I drink.
And when you have a cup
not
of
remotely
tea,
interested in anything I'm saying.
But when you have a cup of tea with skimmed milk, you can actually taste the tea instead of the creamy stuff.
Skimmed milk. Why even bother?
Anyway, about the that's the best before, and things like meat or fish or anything that goes off really bad.
Yes.
That is definitely used by, because otherwise it'll start to smell.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
I think you'll find that it's
you need to use it
the
when it's
same
you need
thing.
to have used it by sell-by date.
Yeah.
But best before means you can keep it further using your own discretion and your smell.
You don't have to use it by the sell-by date. That's just the date at which the shop has to sell it by.
Yes, that's a sell-by date.
That is what I said.
Yeah, no, we were talking. Well, the other lady was confused with best before and used by.
Yeah,
that's
the same
a different
thing.
one again.
No.
The shops sell it a sell-by date,
right?
So that you can use it, and then you'll have other instructions on the label.
No, I think you're wrong there. No, everything you just said is completely wrong, Celia.
No, it's not. I've never had food poisoning,
including that. Yeah. Well, you're lucky so far, Celia. I hope your luck holds out.
Yeah. The other thing is the medicines.
Yes.
Some medicines that they prescribe are generics, if they know what that is. It's the what they're all made of, and then you have the manufacturers, the pharmacy companies, who have their own brands. Now, ibuprofen is I believe is the generic, and then you have all the other things are exactly the same as that, but they have different names, like Nurofen. There's a lot, and then there's another lot that are mixed, like codeine and ibuprofen are mixed together, and it's called Codafen. But it doesn't tell you that on the packet. But you go by the name.
It does exactly what it says on the packet.
It does what it says, yes.
And never read the instructions on the inside. That's my best advice to you.
Well, you should really read that whole leaflet that's in there.
Never read the leaflet.
You learn something from that.
What you learn is that what you're about to take could lead to dizziness, nausea,
it's
tingling in the fingers. You might lose the use of your legs, and anything up to and including death.
but it doesn't mean to say you're going to get it. It's just a warning that if you refer to that, if you get any of these, you can look it up and see.
Right. See what you've died
if
of.
You got it.
Lovely speaking to you, Celia. Cheers, my dear. 0845 6060 973. Let me just test my glamorous stand-in assistant. Can you say ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen.
Correct. See? It is relatively easy to say. It's just that a lot of people have found it tricky so far this evening. I thought it was just me. Ibuprofen. This message says, I work late, normally until 10 p.m. When I get home, I cook and eat dinner. After eating, I do the washing up. Next day, my wife complains that I wake up the kids and tells me not to wash up so late. So now I leave the washing up to avoid waking the kids. And now she moans that I don't wash up after eating at night. I am confused. What should I do? Says Stephen. Just don't upset the kids and the wife, Stephen. Accept that you are responsible and that you are guilty and that you apologise. You apologise for being an insensitive slob. That should get you out of it. This one says, the rules of cricket confuse me and I play it. Why people are interested in cricket, that's what confuses me. It's such a fascinating and fast-moving game.
Boring!
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's really boring. This dull period in between football seasons is just excruciating to me. And when they try to put cricket on and call it a sport, it's not a sport, it's a pastime. I've looked it up, and that's right, and I'll brook no argument about it. This one says, Nick, it's health articles that confuse us. 1 minute we're told something is good, and then the next minute we're told that it's bad, yeah. Well, there's a certain newspaper that relishes doing that. If they're not making you angry, they're making you fearful and scared for your life. Because, I had steak the other day. I don't eat it very often, because have you seen the price of it? And I know it's supposed to be bad for you, but that's not what my body was telling me. As I chewed into that first juicy morsel, every fibre of my being was giving me a standing ovation. Oh, this is excellent, it was saying. Shouting at me it was. So yummy. But it's supposed to be bad for you. But if it's bad for you, then why does your body thank you for eating it? Every fibre of my being was saying, thank you for eating this. Here is a call in Gospel Oak. Hello, Moira.
Oh, hello.
I used to live in Gospel Oak.
Yes, I heard you saying that about the Maitland Post Office and some laundrette here. You said it on the radio one time.
Are you saying that I'm getting repetitive?
No.
Is this a complaint?
No. I have no complaints about you. I think you're marvellous. Right. You entertain me every weekend.
Thanks, Moira.
Anyway, about redheads, I've also heard the incest rumour. I'm in my 50s now, so I'm going brown. But I've never been bothered about the incest rumour at all. It's possibly true, I don't know, but why bother?
Well, no, but I don't think that's why, because I don't think it's commonly known, so that can't be a consciously held reason for people to discriminate against red-headed people.
They're just jealous.
Well, it just might be, it might be several things. First, that there's not many redheads about, unless you live in Scotland or Ireland, and so they are just an easily identifiable minority, and kids pick on minorities. Or if the incest thing is true, and I've only read it once, so it's probably not true. But let's for the moment assume that it is. If it is true, then perhaps there is some sort of instinctual, unconscious reaction that people get, and they don't even know why. But that is but that would be the reason if it were true. But it's probably not.
I didn't know whether it was true or not. I just heard about it.
Probably just an easily identifiable minority.
Yeah. It's certainly in Ireland, where we have lots and lots of redheads. Yeah. We still get a lot of attention for our redheadness.
Your redheadness.
Yeah. We get a lot of attention for it, and it's rather tiresome. But I just think...
Now, when you say attention, do you mean that in a positive way or a negative way? A negative way.
Mm.
Because I think a lot of people do actually are drawn to redheads.
Well, mothers actually coo about their redheads, but school children don't.
No, well, school children are awful, and anybody who's ever been a school child will agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Moira.
There's another thing.
And another thing.
Siobhan.
Yes.
You were wondering about the spelling of it. It's an Irish name, and the BH is the equivalent of V in Irish. That's why it's pronounced Siobhan.
And the sh part?
S-I-O is spelled sh. It's pronounced sh.
Well, that's just silly.
No, it's just a different language.
Well, it's, it is almost like it's a different language, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is a different language, completely. It's very similar to Scots Gaelic.
Siobhan.
You're going to persist in Siobhan.
Yes, I'm afraid that I will, yeah, because I speak my language and you can speak yours, and never the twain will understand each other.
Well, I speak both, you see.
And you speak them very well, Moira. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Tata 0845 6060 973. This message says, I'm confused why my local council employ lollipop ladies at Pelican Crossings. Surely a kid going to school should have enough gumption to be able to push a button and wait. Nick, I'm confused by the use of the word earn being used to describe what people are paid. To earn means to merit. I can't name any politician, council executive or civil servant grandee who merits the money they make. This says, women, they confuse me. Another, last week my greedy boss asked me to buy him lunch. I said, OK, no problem, expecting he will give me the money back. But he wasn't bothered at all. Your boss asked you to buy him lunch. This says, I'm confused how some people can be confused with the underground. Yeah, this relates to a call that we had some moments ago. It's listeners picking fights with each other. Another, there are many things that confuse me. Women, obviously. Instruction manuals to gadgety stuff. Too much scotch. The recent obsession with realigning curbstones rather than resurfacing roads. And the current fondness for the output of Daft Punk. Actually, that new album, Daft Punk, I like it a lot. First I thought, meh, all that vocoded voices. I normally dislike it. You know, the sort of thing that Cher used. That. Awful. And so I initially took against it, but then after several listens, no, I'm fully on board. That Daft Punk album, the new Queens of the Stone Age.
Rock and roll!
Excellent work. It continues, this message, however, if I live to be 1,000,000 years old, nothing will ever confuse me more than the successful career of Fern Cotton.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I don't get it either. And there's so many exactly like her. Kat Deely, Fern Cotton, and all the other those bland, blonde presenters, whose ability is to speak off an auto-cue what somebody else has written. And that's £1 million a year. Television. What an insane business. In order to succeed, all you have to do is not offend anyone. This says, what I do on a motorway or dual carriageway is follow lorries, and the journey is calmer and stress-free, says Angela. That is what I am saying, Angela. I am saying that. What confuses me? The world debt. If every country is in debt, who owes what and to whom? If all countries are in debt, logically all countries are owed monies. If this is the case, then the solution is very easy. To eradicate these debts, all countries should agree to waive all debt that is owed to them and start afresh. This, in theory, should work. My mind hurts. This one says, the new middle lane hogger law, if you're on the M25, confuses me. It's 4 lanes, so which one is the middle lane? Well, whichever one you're in. Guilty. Let's take a call in Clapham. Tony.
Hello, Nick. Nice
Tony.
to speak to you.
Tony.
Yeah, my wife bought me some underpants some time ago.
Yes.
And they got flies and buttons on them.
They got flies on them?
Yes, with buttons.
Right.
And I can't see the point.
You've got flies on your underwear?
Yes. I can't see the point, can you?
Well, you could maybe try washing them.
Well, I mean, if you get taken short, it's hard enough to get the zipper undone and find it.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I know you don't have all the time in the world, Tony. This is an emergency. You just have to go over the gate. Never mind about fiddling about with flies. Just, just yank them down by the elastic, Tony.
Okay, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks very much.
Thanks
Bye.
very much, Tony. Cheers, mate. 0845 6060 973. He's got flies on his pantaloons. Can you believe that? Some messages. How many have I got? 3. I got through those much quicker than I thought I was going to. This leaves me 2 minutes to fill. And I am bereft of ideas. Oh, no. This first one says, the thing that confuses me is, what kind of a car does Fred have that he can fit himself and 7 girls on the back seat? That's an excellent question. That car would have to be as wide as a Hummer, but more spacious inside. Of course, you can't say the word Hummer in connection with that. It's you don't even think it. Confusion is in McDonald's. Why is it a McChicken sandwich, but it's a chicken McNugget? Why not both McChicken? I struggle with this, says Henry. A McChicken sandwich, a McChicken McNugget. Well, that would just be silly. And finally, what confuses me is when people say, I'm not being rude, but... And then they say something that is rude. I don't get it, says Candice. Which is obviously a made-up name, because only a porn star in the 70s would be called Candice. Isn't that right, Christo?
Yes.
Yes.
I wasn't even born in the 70s, so I wouldn't know about porn stars then. I wouldn't know about porn stars now.
No, of course not. No,
but I would
obviously
know less about them because I wasn't born.
That is what you meant. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to rephrase that?
I don't know anything about porn stars ever.
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 Is the correct response.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not being rude, but the next show is presented by Christo.
I'm just amazed to hear you're not being rude.
No, yeah,
That's surprising enough.
I actually wasn't rude.
I know.
How about that?
Quite amazing. Thank you. So coming up, we'll be taking you through the night here on LBC 97.3. I'm going to give you the chance to talk about something that you have been hassling me to discuss since I started on overnight radio. And so today, it is your chance to have that one conversation that we have shrugged away from for months and years. Do you want to know what that will be? Then you need to stay with me until after 1 o'clock.